Excelsior.
Ideas are like cream. Good ones rise to the top. My ears, how are you?
My crew is on the verge of a breakthrough.
My word. My word.
Greetings.
How are your endeavors progressing?
We all have a place in the eternal alchemy.
So, what should we do in the case of a golem uprising?
Impossible. The sedition inhibitor prevents any insurgent behavior.
And if someone determined a way to suppress the inhibitor?
Are you spending
Then we die or we bow down to our new golem overlords.
How are you?
Wow. Actually better than Stu. What happened?
How may I assist you?
Someday I will establish my prominence.
Excelsior.
Excelsior. My crew is on the verge of a breakthrough. How may I assist you? How are your endeavors progressing?
Right, hello everyone. Hello. Alright, so we're doing some Super Adventure Box stuff. I think I'm gonna... No, my ears low. Alright, so I was just kind of sorting. I haven't done anything with the skins in here, but I wanted to have just... I had a lot of... I have these too. I have a lot of like random crap in here, like I don't need that either. Just a lot of really random stuff that's in here. I don't know why I'm not doing that. That has nothing to do with it. I've been collecting these for a while as well. I can put that in there. Alright. Here's our guy. Remember him? He was part of, he was the challenge, that we did. I just made him into my Super Adventure Box character. He's my, he was the pet only challenge that we did, and I redid him, and he's my new Super Adventure Box guy. Alright,
I like to think inside the box.
I haven't even looked into any of the new things that we can get. This is the regular
Friend,
stuff,
I
right?
think we
Yeah,
had a
this is the regular
misunderstanding
stuff.
earlier. I don't want to buy you out. I was thinking of it more as a franchise opportunity. I can imagine a Super Adventure Box in every corner of Tyria.
What is
Dare I
new?
say,
I don't know what's new.
I see. That's kind. But for now, I want to keep my idea local, in the home of my people. Perhaps at some later date.
Our door is
Weekly
always
trader.
open. Keep us in mind, won't you?
Oh, the Generation 1. So I have this really cool, I don't know how I got how I got from this to that. And it's probably something that I'll mention later on again as we have more people joining in. But, so I got this, I got curious the other day because I wanted to look at a specific Guild Wars 1 map. And I ended up finding this program that lets you actually look through the Guild Wars dat file. So like you can look at like all the different things, right? And like all the different models of all the different creatures and like everything, right? And my thing, does your back piece not show up in here? It does not. Interesting. My idea was, can we do something different with the pants? I really dislike those pants on. Do we have other, I could do, well, I guess I could do those pants now. They do work with that pretty well. If I just recolor them a little bit. I'm trying to see. I think that's good, yeah? That looks better. Yay, look at that. New fashion. Boom. But yeah, so I found this program that lets you go through doing, like, looking at all the different maps and all the different things that you can that are in the I guess I'm gonna, I don't know how quiet it is for you guys, but... And I was wondering if people would be interested in maybe doing, it's probably something that I'll talk about in like a Guild Wars 1 stream or something that I'll do, and just kind of see if people are interested in me going through those maps, right? Because it's kind of cool seeing the perspective of like, you're above the maps and you float around and you like look at all the different things and like that type of stuff. I think that's really cool. I think that's something that would be really interesting, kind of looking at the maps. You can look like outside of the bounds of the map and you can kind of see what's around it, and you can kind of see how big, like, it actually, like, some of the maps are like massive. Like when you look at Kaineng, like it's a huge city, like, and it's weird because you go to like one of the maps and it has like all the other maps like kind of connected to it, so it's like one giant map and you can go through like all of Kaineng and just can see how expansive it is. You know, it's like we think it's big as we like walk through, but as you have this like image in front of you where you can see it, it's really cool. So yeah, so if people are interested in that, maybe we'll get some World 4. But yeah, I don't know what the changes are. I don't know what's new. Like I said, none of this really looked new. I know that this is new. And I do actually, did I unlock any of them? I haven't unlocked any of them, but those are probably some of the ones that I would be interested in unlocking. For one, and I don't know, this, you know, I guess everyone has their own, like, experience with it, or, you know, whatever. But they give off this feeling to me because they're, like, retro-y, and they're, like, yellow and purple is a lot of their stuff that's going on there. Specifically, sword is cool, I think. They remind me of what's that level in the first Sonic? It's like the Casino Nights. It's the whatever it's called. But that level, the Spring Yard Zone, that's what this reminds me of. Because the color scheme of Spring Yard Zone is exactly kind of this. It's like yellow, purplish. There's like floaty things everywhere. And what's that? It's a scepter. Kind of a weird scepter, but sure. So I guess that's going to be our goal, is to get to these. I don't have a lot of gold because I'm poor. So whatever. Anyways, I'm guessing for annual stuff they need me to just kind of play through. I haven't looked into any of this. I've done the Super Adventure Box. What am I missing? Medium health bottle. And Moto's finger. Yeah, that's kind of there. Do we have the annual? What is the annual stuff? Oh, right here. Okay, got it. I was like, where's the annual stuff? Zone Runner. Complete any zone. You need to do that 16 times. Okay. World 1 challenge. There was an exploration mode. Alright, let's go through everything in exploration mode, normal mode, and then we'll see from there. How about that? How about that? And we'll hang out and we'll kind of talk about, I don't know, everything cute. So this will go really fast, I think, going through this. Oh, I have, you know what? No, go back. Back out. God damn it. I hate we have to see this intro. Damn it, I forgot. I need to convert, it's dumb that I have 499, but I need to convert. I think I should be okay. I think I'll be fine. I think I'll be fine just running through World 1 without, without going back and converting my baubles. Because really, honestly, I don't want to go through the intro again. It's so interesting because Super Adventure Box, you know, obviously feels like a different... Oh, I thought there was a bauble hanging out, but it was my miniature in the cutscene. It was hanging out behind me. So I was just like, wait a minute. Why is there just a random bauble? But it was just honestly my, is there something behind here? I gotta relearn everything. Like in a year, I forget everything. It's every time like that, I gotta relearn everything. Whee! Yay. I think I can hold 750. I think I have the biggest bag. I'm just gonna try to run through most of this. real quick. Oh. And other. I don't care. We made it. What? He didn't even do anything. How did I get hurt? Literally makes no sense. Whoa, I didn't even collect that. So we'll run through, we'll do some of the achievements. I want to try to do as much as I can. I'm guessing like, you know, destroying furniture or doing whatever probably gains me some stuff as well, right? Like there's probably some random achievements in there that probably mean just like, oh, open that many chests, or go through this many portals, or collect this many baubles, or something like that, right? So I haven't looked at it, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run through these for the first. Yeah, I'm just gonna do the exploration mode, and then, which, you know, still to me should be the infantile mode, because that's what it feels like. And then we can go back and do normal mode, and kind of maybe do a little bit more targeted, maybe actually read through some of the achievements that I haven't gotten at that point. These led me up there? These? What? Wait, is that? Oh, it's on this side. Like I said, I forgot everything. I need a key. Please, one of you drop a freaking key. Oh. No key for me. You? Do you drop a key? Key? I never play Asura characters. This is the only Asura I have, which is kind of sad, honestly. I've been thinking about making another Asura character. I kind of have like... Do you have a key? No. No one has a key. It's annoying. I don't want to buy one. I want this one. 25? That's a lot of baubles, dude. No, I didn't mean to go out or back in. Stop attacking. Well, now continue to. But yeah, so what I was gonna say earlier is, it's really interesting because I always thought that Super Adventure Box was like universally loved, right? But actually recently, you know, on Reddit, there was people talking about how they don't enjoy it, which is fine, right? You don't have to like it. You know, it doesn't have to be, some people love it, some people don't. Okay. I just slid down everything for God knows whatever reason. But it's interesting because I always thought it was like universally loved, but there's people that are like, I hate it, I just go through to get the achievements and get the new skins and whatever else. And I was like, well, that makes sense. I understand that as well, right? Because you want to get the skins, or you want to get the achievement points. Like the achievement points I think is a big one for especially veteran players. Wait, what? Wait, why does that not work? Okay. Alright, wait, is this the dig spawn? Are they not here in infantile or exploration mode? I don't know. But yeah, I've been thinking about doing that. I've been also thinking, I know for sure that there's... Okay, yeah, they're not here in exploration mode. Okay, got it. They'll probably be here later. I still want to come back to that box at some point. If I get a key. Part out a rainbow for me. Do it. I don't know if I'm gonna do the hard mode or anything. I don't know if I'm gonna do another stream of this or what. I'm sure everyone and their grandma is streaming this. I don't know how popular that's really gonna be. Oh, I should have let him get the bobble first. I guess I'm going in here. Yeah, so it's really interesting to see the other side of that, right? Where it's not the most beloved thing on the planet. But I do think that after all these years, Arena really needs to work on getting World 3 and 4. I don't know. I've had my thoughts on it. I've talked about what I think about, ArenaNet right now and what's going on with it. And it's really interesting because I just think that I feel like there's something going on in the background that either we don't understand or we don't know. Not that we don't understand, we could understand, I mean, we're not, like, as a collective, we're not stupid. Individually, we are all fucking morons, but I think as a collective, we're pretty smart. So I think it's kind of, I think there's something going on, like, because, like, it's not necessarily the quality of stuff that it's dropped, but it's also, like, significantly, there's two things that I thought about the other day that have significantly dropped with ArenaNet, and that's not, it's the amount of stuff, right? It's not necessarily, like I said, not the quality, but definitely the quantity. It's definitely, oh my god, I'm still so bad at this. It's definitely gotten to the point where we're getting way less content than we used to. You look at any of the Living World updates, you look at any of the other expansions, you look at any of those things, and you can see that, yes, I know Secrets of the Obscure was like $10 cheaper than End of Dragons, but I just went through a lot of End of Dragons maps, and I'll tell you what, there is a lot of content in there that like compared to what is going on here. Oh, I'm already doing my dailies on it. I collected this, but I guess I didn't read it. That's okay. Just want to make sure I have that. So yeah, and I just, it's so much, like, the quantity of stuff, like I said, I keep praising the initial release of Secrets of the Obscure because it really felt like, okay, we're going in, like, End of Dragons type of, like, content, right? Like, amount of stuff that we're gonna be looking at, right? It's like, where's the camera? Like that. It seems to be not extended. I don't know. I look kind of skewed. I look like I need to sit like this, but that's because the whole house is crooked. So, and I just think, the initial release was, yeah, it was like, it really felt like we're gonna get, like, plenty, but then everything Nios has been, like, quantity has, like, really dropped. Not necessarily quality. Like, I feel like the quality is fine. I mean, it has a lot of its, like I said, the story and the writing is a little iffy and whatever, but it's fine. It's whatever. I just think the amount of stuff that we're getting is suspicious. It's not necessarily that I can say, well, I've made the excuses for ArenaNet where I've said, oh, well, it's because they have new people working on it and they don't know how the engine works and everything is slower, and ArenaNet doesn't really, like, you know, they have all new people, and it's a different dynamic, and blah 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 blah, right? Like, I always had like these excuses. I always had the benefit of the doubt, but when you really look at it, like, it's suspicious, right? It's like, why? And you know, why is the content? Why is the quantity of the content so low? Like, significantly lower. You know, we're getting a lot less content now than we used to before, than ever before. You know, I mean, you know, except for like early season one, guys. I mean, that was crazy. Early season one, for those of you that don't know, early season one was, we were barely getting anything. I am not getting any keys. I don't know if this is exploration mode where keys don't drop from enemies, but I'm getting 0 keys, and that's concerning. But yeah, early season 1 was crazy. I don't know if anyone, I still have it vividly in my mind. Early season 1 for Living World, which was the first proper, like, you know, like, new releases beside like festivals and stuff that they were doing. And I remember it was like in February, so the game came out in like August, right? Everyone was kind of like, whoa, okay, cool, for like 3 months, okay? Because in August, so August it releases, and then in October, so we have August, September, October, okay. October comes out, and they're giving us the first festival, which was Halloween. And, you know, Halloween has always been the most packed of, what's it called? Festivals, right? It's always been, and, you know, it's attributed to it being the very first one that was released. They put a lot of effort into it. So, you know, everyone is just kind of like, okay, cool, all right, so we have that, right? And then Winter's Day comes out a couple months after that, you know, in December or whatever. So we go through October, and then October is kind of like, okay, whatever. And then, you know, it probably lasted, I think early on lasted a little bit longer. So we're then like, okay, we're going into, let's say, December, you know, and it's like, it's been a month since we've had anything, because that was, you know, Halloween, Mad King's Day. And then we go into like December, and then December is Winter's Day, right? And then Winter's Day was also had like a lot of stuff going on, and people were still, I mean, we're like, you know, 6 months into the game at this point, and people are still getting familiar with the game itself, right? They're getting familiar with all the different systems and all the different things going on. This is where I'm gonna start just skipping a lot more of the content, guys, because I don't care to do all the different things, hopping in all the different directions. We can do that when we do normal mode, once I have transferred, because I think I'm gonna run out of space for my baubles, and so I'm just gonna, that's why I'm not collecting my shaky chests. For anyone that's kind of maybe annoyed at that, I'm sorry, but I would like to not overfill my bag. But yeah, so so we were 6 months in, right? The release of Guild Wars 2, and people are kind of starting to question, like, okay, what's going on with the game, right? Because you just have like festivals going on, and we have no updates going on. And then it was so kind of, I think they dropped some kind of hint as to like, oh yeah, we're gonna be releasing something. Stay tuned. So then I think it was either January or February is when the very first release came out. And it was, I shit you not, okay? I shit you not. It was maybe 20 minutes of content, okay? Of weird, obscure, it was, steam was coming out of the, like, mountains around the northern side of, like, Wayfarer Foothills. We start hearing about, like, this Molten Alliance, like, something going on with the Dredge and the Flame Legion, right? So we're kind of hearing about this weird like something going on, and we hear about refugees coming to Holbrook, right? And it's literally, I mean, I kid you not, it's like 20 minutes of, you know, going into the open world. There was like these signs that you had to read, these guideposts for refugees or something, as far as I remember. And that was pretty much like it. Like there wasn't like content, you know, you kind of were like, okay, that's it. And you had to, and we had to wait like a month or something for the night. It was like a crazy amount of time that we had to wait. And it was just like, wait, seriously? Yeah, seriously. That's how, I mean, it was really, really like, okay. And a lot of people immediately were, because, you know, this was the first release for their newest big thing, which was Living World, right? ArenaNet still at this point in time, keeping with the whole idea of we're not doing the expansions. Our expansions are never gonna happen, right? That was their big prerogative at the time. They were like, we're gonna be delivering content, expansion level content, in the real world, right? That was the first time that they kind of they didn't make that statement. I'm gonna skip the B here because otherwise I'm just gonna be full of bubbles, guys. So I'm just gonna run through. We can do it on the second run through here. We can go do the B and all the things. But right now I'm just gonna run through because I have a feeling I'm gonna be full by the end of some of these maps. Yeah, and a lot of people were getting very, very concerned. I remember this. A lot of, because mind you, at this point, a lot of people had already left the game because they had left because they were like, there's no end game here, right? Hey, Jacob. Welcome. So a lot of people, you know, at this point had already left Guild Wars 2 because there was no end game, and you know, and then they present us with Living World Season 1, which was which had like there was like no content. It was like 20 minutes of very vague stuff. There wasn't really anything you could do. You could do a couple conversations here and there. Like I said, you heard some whispers of this like alliance that was going on, refugees, because they were like somehow getting chased out of their homesteads, but you didn't actually physically see that happening. And that was kind of it, right? And yeah, so people were getting pretty upset, right? So then ArenaNet, after I think like 2 or 3 releases of this kind, right? They were kind of ramping up for the first part, which was like, you know, all about the Molten Alliance was the first part, right? As they were ramping up and releasing more and more of that, and then we were getting into the, like, they added this new open world dungeon that you could play for a limited time and whatever. They were starting to do it like, okay, well, we're gonna be releasing it more frequently. So instead of having it, I think it was like every month, they would go down to like every, was it like, or maybe was it, because I think they changed it numerous times, so it probably must have been like every 2 months we would get something. And then they were like, no, we're gonna do it every month. And then eventually halfway through season 1, they were like, we're gonna do it every 2 weeks or something. It was like something crazy like that. Yeah, and this is what, you know, the whole Nios, that's what the releases of Nios, that's what it reminds me of. It's simply, you know, quantity or quality is like a whole different discussion, right? The quality is whatever, right? We can talk about that all day long. We can talk about like, oh, well, this isn't as good as this, and this isn't this, and blah, 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 right? But the main point being, I forgot that I'm doing this, so I actually get to skip through. The main point being that it's simply the quantity of stuff is very suspicious. And it's something that I've just like kind of thought about. I'm like, you know, it's kind of weird. And I forgot what my second point was. God damn it. After all that talking, I totally forgot what point was. Recently, Helldivers 2 and I don't know. I bought Helldivers too, but then I don't really play with other people, so I felt like my money was completely wasted because I played for about an hour and then I gave up because I'm like, this is solo. It's incredibly hard to play, and I didn't think the game was very intuitive. I don't know. I only played for an hour, so I can't really say I played the game and I know what I'm talking about, but it felt very much like, I don't know, it felt very it's samey. I mean, you want to talk about like reused assets? Fucking reused everything. Jesus, I was like in the same three environments. The environments were incredibly boring. And the mechanics were incredibly boring to me. The enemies were all the same. And I was just like, okay. I mean, I guess I just didn't really play the game. I played longer than an hour. I want to say I probably played like a couple of hours. 3 hours probably altogether. Well, we're going this way. We're just doing the fast track to the end. We're gonna come back here in a minute anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh, is that what it is? Oh yeah, I don't know. No one explained it to me, so I was just like, well, this is boring. I'm gonna keep fighting the same enemies over and over again. And yeah, I was just like, whatever. So I might have another look at it at some point. Ah. Oh, that's okay. King Toad, I must eliminate you. Goodbye. Yeah, so I'll take another look. But yeah, so kind of I forgot what was my other point. It's gonna drive me crazy not remembering what my other point was. I was gonna talk about something else too. I don't know. I didn't like the whole like inputting, like up down, left right, up down, or whatever, right? You had to like input that stuff. I'm like, this is really unintuitive. Because in other games I play like one button to do it, and I guess I get it's supposed to be like a joke of like inputting cheats or something, but it was just kind of like, I'm kind of annoyed at this. So, but I mean, to each their own, you know. If other people are having fun, I mean, it's super popular, and that's why I bought it. I had a coworker of mine who was like, "Oh, you should really try it," and I was like, I don't know. And he was like, "No, I'll go and try it," and I did, and I was like, "Well, I don't know if I'm like, whatever. I will just kind of let it be a thing." So I can't destroy it fast enough. There's barely any bobbles coming out anyways. I'm trying to remember what my other point was. Oh my god, I can't. There's something about it. There's something about the release. Something about the release. Something. Okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah, let's turn these in. Okay, perfect. So, oh wait, if I do... Never mind, that didn't do anything. Okay, so I have 6 of these, that's good. I mean, I guess I could open these. What is in here? Oh, uncommon. Oh. Maybe I should open these. Oh, I can't use them here? Oh my god. Why? I don't understand why. Use all canceled, but it's not... You're not using them. Use all canceled. Yeah, well, it was canceled by the game because it's not working. Alright, I guess we gotta leave in order to use this. Stupid. I hate that. I'm like, allow things. This is a lobby. Allow us to open containers at least. I don't understand why that's so hard. Yeah, I forgot what the other point of everything. I feel like that had something to do with like there was something else that they were working on. I was thinking about. I don't remember what it was. There was something else, some kind of thought behind all of this. Hey, look at that! I got a Retroforged weapon box. Awesome! I'm getting my first Retroforged weapon, guys. Ooh, spear. Underwater weapon.
Should I choose Hydro,
Crazy.
Synergen, or Opticalium?
You don't choose a crew. The crew chooses you.
Well,
I think I'm gonna do the sword. I think the sword is pretty
have no interest in gut-wrenching, mind-blowing
Geniuses start
war.
their own crew.
cool.
The mists
We got our first one, guys.
You won't have
Woo,
to
woo,
deal
woo,
with that
woo.
either.
Yeah, still no World 3. Like I said, so that was kind of the original point of the thing that I was talking about earlier. It was like it seems really suspicious how ArenaNet right now, like the quantity of stuff that we're getting. Like none of the latest festivals had any like big additions to it, you know. We haven't seen anything like significantly added. It's just been like, oh, new rewards, but it's been the same thing, right? Last year, yes, they added the test zone for World 3, but as far as I know, they kind of kept it the same. Look, this is like my dark counter. My dark counter right here. I'm taking a screenshot of that because that's fucking hilarious. This is my evil sister, my evil... She's like my Inquest version of me. That's really funny. Alright. Ooh, Golem Buster Weapon Locker. What is that? Ooh, is that new stuff that's coming out as well? Oh. Oh, I like it. Is that a maze? Oh, it's a holographic. Ooh. Hammer. Hammers are always cool. I'm using a lot of... Guys, I really got into using a Guardian hammer. Like, I made a build for my Guardian hammer, or my hammer, or using a hammer on a Guardian, or whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Wow, it's like a stun gun. That's pretty cool. Where's the staff? I want to look at the staff. Are you... But yeah, I just find it... I don't remember exactly what the original point of... Oh, I did get more baubles. Let's... Oh, it started raining. I was like, what the fuck is this number? Oh, that's crazy. Started raining. Wow, and it's like raining against my window, which is kind of crazy. Josh Foreman is lost? What do you mean by that? Because I remember he like left ArenaNet and then came back, but then left again or something. Is he like still with ArenaNet? I know it was like his whole thing, right? The Super Adventure Box was like his whole fucking baby. Like he was the one that like made all of it happen, and then now without him, it feels like they're completely like they have no idea how to like advance further. Like they're like, we can't make this without this guy or something. I don't know. Yeah, he was the guy that made all of this, right? Like he's the guy that like came up with all of it. He was always really cool. He's one of my favorites out of all the developers. He was always one of my, I don't know, he was always like pretty like, I don't know, he seemed like a guy that like had a great personality and like really good ideas and was very creative, but also a type of person that's like, I'm gonna get shit done. Like I'm not just gonna talk about doing something, but I'm also gonna get shit done. I remembered the second point I was talking about. The other point that's kind of weird. Okay, and had nothing to do with doing something else they're working on. So the other thing I was thinking about was the whole thing with ArenaNet and their transparency. ArenaNet has become incredibly quiet over the last few years, and that is a hill I will die on, because if anyone is like, oh no, they've always been like that, or they're more transparent than they've ever been, clearly has no idea what they're talking about. ArenaNet has become incredibly quiet. There is no more presence on Reddit. There is barely any presence on the forums. There's barely any updates. I remember, I just reminisced yesterday about how it felt when we were, when like a new release for like season 3 or season 4 was coming out, and they would tease it, right? I remember how hype everything was about the game at that point, right? It was like, oh my god, we have a new expansion coming, but we're doing the season, and like every episode was like people were hyping it up, right? ArenaNet would post these teasers, and people were like, oh my god, this is so cool, like I can't wait to go in there and you know, see what's going on. And I remember I would be like at work, and we wouldn't even have like the new release coming out, but I remember like I would be at work and I'd be like, wow, I can't wait to go home so that I can work on getting these rewards done from the current release so that I can get ready for the next release. Like, and that was like that for years. I felt like that for years. It felt like that for me, and it was crazy because, oh my god, can I? Oh, okay, cool. And that went away. Like ArenaNet, they used to do. I don't know if you guys remember. They used to do AMAs. After every release, they would have like 2-3 developers go on Reddit and they would do AMAs, and they would have like development stories about stuff that was going on in the background, and like guild chat. Like guild chat used to be huge. You can go on the guild chat YouTube channel, and you can see that they like used to do live streams and post videos like way more, right? Like it used to be actually like almost, I think they did it on like a weekly basis, right? They used to have this where they talked about things in the development, right? And it just kind of really felt like they were engaging with their player base, only for them to go, after the whole Iceberg Saga debacle and the whole like the firings and all that, right? They kind of went into this hole of like, we don't want to interact with the player base like at all anymore, like at all. And they're not interacting with us at all anymore. Like, it's crazy because even the Return to, and I talked about this recently, like the Return to stuff, like they don't even put that on their news page. They drop like one thing on Twitter, like one random PR post of like, hey, by the way, you can go in and do that right now, and that's it. And then you get like a mail when you're in the game, and that's it. And it feels so, oh my god, a bunny. And it feels so weird. It really feels really strange to me that there's this weird behavior going on. And I don't know if this is something where they're like trying to keep quiet about something, or if it's like new management saying to not engage with the player base, or exactly, I don't know exactly what it is. But it feels really, really strange. The ArenaNet of now, if that's how they're gonna continue doing stuff, simply by the way that they're treating their player base, because they're keeping their player base at arm's length. And out of all the MMOs, we know that, you know, we have, not out of all the MMOs, like Final Fantasy XIV has a really great community too, I think. I've seen some really good stuff, and that's because of Yoshi P kind of leading the head and kind of making people like just super hyped for the. What am I doing? I'm not going to. I was going over to the other dig spot. You know, it's kind of because of that guy. So that game has like, and you know, and people are just super optimistic because that game has just like such a bright future. You know, it has like all these. You know, Yoshi P has not just. Oh God, I fucked that up. That was completely my fault. He hasn't just like promised things, but he's also delivered on those promises. You know what I mean? He's talked about that he's gonna do something, that he's gonna do all of these different things, and he's really delivered, right? And so the community has this like huge confidence in him. So when he says, "Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing Final Fantasy XIV for the next 10 years," people are like, "Fuck yes." With ArenaNet, we haven't heard anything about the future. Like we've heard of, oh yeah, the next expansion, and we've heard the expansion after that. But like, we don't even know what the long-term plans are, you know? Final Fantasy XIV has laid out, I think this is everything in this area, has laid out all these plans that, you know, they have in their streams shown exactly what each update that's coming out, what it's gonna be. And it's not like ArenaNet hasn't shared like a roadmap type of thing, right? Where they're like, oh, but they don't go into specifics, right? They don't go into specifics of what exactly it is that they're gonna do. They're just, it's like in a general, like, oh yeah, the last part of not, like, we don't even know how we're fighting Eparch, right? Is it gonna be like, is it gonna be another meta event on Nyos? Is it gonna be a strike mission? Is it just gonna be in the Fractal? Like, in what form are we confronting him? Like, how you know, what exactly is, like, we have seen no preview of the Fractal. Like, the Fractal is coming out soon, guys, and we know nothing. We know zero about this. They did push back the date by like a few days recently. They changed the in the specials tab, they changed the day, and I don't know how much they changed it. But right here in the days remaining, they bumped this up by, I think, like a week or something, I want to say is what it was. I could be wrong. I just, that was like an arbitrary number. I have no idea, but I didn't feel like it was that huge of a difference. So it seems very strange, you know? It seems very like, ArenaNet used to be kind of like how Final Fantasy does, like how Square Enix does Final Fantasy right now. You know, they used to be so hype about stuff. They used to go on these streams and they used to talk about like, oh, we can't wait for you guys to see the new stuff that's coming out. We have a lot of stuff planned. We have all these things. And now they're not doing any of that. They're literally like, yes, they do like studio updates where they're like, okay, yeah, we can't wait for you guys to see something. But those happen like once every 3 months. It's like one post. And you don't see any pictures, you don't see the people on stream, you don't see any of that stuff. There's no engagement with the community, there's no, it feels very, very much that ArenaNet has removed themselves. And they've just become this like weird company that stands behind whoever does their PR. You know, the few blog posts that we get here and there are like the only communication that we get. We get no other engagement from these people, and it's so different, so different. Maybe they changed some, you know, they could have changed some company policies just because of like things that happened with like Peter and Jessica, where there was like social media engagement and whatever, right? Maybe they changed some policies where they're like, oh well, we can't engage with people anymore. But like I said, it just seems like ArenaNet doesn't really like to me. It seems like ArenaNet themselves are not hyped about the stuff that's coming out, but then they're trying to have this like it's a words versus actions thing, right? They'll, like I said, they'll do studio update every 3 months and they'll tell us, yeah, we're fully focused on Guild Wars 2, we're fully into this, we're fully like, this is what we're doing right now. But then the releases that are coming out are incredibly lackluster, and then, you know, they're kind of talking about like, oh yeah, we're doing expansion 5 and expansion 6 and you know, but we knew nothing about them. Like, give us some details, hype us up. Like, we're about to be done with Secrets of the Obscure and we have no idea what's coming next. And then, mind you, the next expansion is supposed to be coming out this year. So the release, the Eparch release, you know, the last, I call it Eparch release because that's who we're going to be fighting, I hope, is going to be happening in like the next, you know, month, right? In a month from now, we're going to be getting that release. And then we're done with Secrets of the Obscure. But we know nothing about what's coming after that. Where in other MMOs, they know months, they know like a year in advance of what is going to come, right? Like, even someone on forums, you mean like at least have someone on the forums like inform us or talk or whatever? I'm never on the forums because they don't talk, they don't say anything on the forums. I never see any developer said House was top peak in it and they will never achieve that level of quality. They won't, and I completely agree. Like, a lot of people, okay, and that's actually a great point that you're bringing that up. So a lot of people, I remember, were a little upset when Heart of Thorns came out because we had a 6-month content drought before and after, right? And then they had to change a lot of, I love how that bauble disappeared right before I got to it. And then they had to go through and they had to fix a lot of stuff after the fact, after Heart of Thorns was released. But, you know, and I never had that thought. I never had that thought of, I didn't like Heart of Thorns, right? Because I thought the story was good enough, right? And that's what I personally, you know, that's what I focus on. That's what I think about. That's what I enjoy, right? Is the story and the characters and whatever, right? And I felt like they did the Maguma Jungle pretty well, right? And the story in the Maguma Jungle, and we got another Elder Dragon that we defeated. And I was like, yeah, this is progressing good. Like, I thought it was good in my opinion, you know? A lot of people were upset though. I didn't go in here earlier actually, but it's okay. I was filling up on baubles anyways. I want to get this bauble without leaving this house. But honestly, if you look back now, like a decade later, right? It's literally been a decade since Heart of Thorns has released. Heart of Thorns is like, I think content-wise, like overall, if you look at all the things that came with Heart of Thorns, it's the best expansion. Like, hands down. Because the maps were great. Yes, Tangled Depths is a mess, right? But it has variety, right? Because you have, like, Verdant Brink, which is a little bit open. And there's a lot of, like, you can use your glider and whatever, right? And it's like, then you get the jungle map, which is this weird progressive map. You're kind of going down into this jungle, you know, with Tarir in the middle. Like, you know, that's kind of cool. Tangled Depths, like I said, is a mess. And you have Dragon's Stand, which is like a meta base. So you kind of have like a little bit of everything, you know. I mean, the maps are, you know, they're pretty decent, I think, especially now with mounts. They feel pretty good to traverse. But then, you know, look back at all the content that we got with Heart of Thorns, right? We got raids were introduced, right? We got our first, 3 raid wings came with Heart of Thorns or something, right? They were gradually released, but yes, I mean, raids were introduced, which was huge, right? We got a second PvP mode, which they never touched afterwards, but, you know, that was introduced. We got elite specializations, a whole new system Like a huge part of what the game now was introduced in Heart of Thorns. Gliding was introduced, which is, you know, again, another huge thing in the game now. Masteries was introduced, which is now their you know, their leveling system in a way, right? Their horizontal leveling system is the mastery system. Like all of these, the main systems that they're building their game on right now were all released with Heart of Thorns. Heart of Thorns was hands down the best expansion that they released. And yeah, I gotta agree. Like when we look at just expansion, like not just like Living World and release cadence, you know, Living World always had like a huge thing with release cadences and stuff. But if we're looking at just like what is by the end of it, what's packed in the expansion, Heart of Thorns, unrivaled, okay? Mordraboth, Zaitan, and Kralkatorg was proper made dragons. Mordraboth, I mean, Mordraboth was a little outside of this, outside of that, right? Because it had like a mind part to it, and it's a snake-like dragon that's like attached to a tree. So, because I don't know exactly what you mean by dragon, proper made dragons, but I feel like what you're getting at is like, well, I don't know, because I was gonna say the boss fights were good. I really enjoyed Kralkatorg. I really enjoyed how they did Kralkatorg, and I really enjoy how they did Mordramoth was good. I think kind of it was a little confused. It was a little bit of like rushed towards the end, because it was like we just find out, oh, you know, we have to fight him in his mind. Like even by the time we get to the last instance of going into the mind, without Trahearn, we would have really never been able to even figure out what we were supposed to do. Like, and it was just kind of like, okay. And it was kind of weird how the end of that, the mind part to Mordramoth was. And Zaitan, you know, of course, the final battle was kind of shitty. I really liked the build up to it. I just really wish that they would redo that instance. But yeah, I mean, I just... Oh, walking on... Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, yes, that was definitely, like, having a whole map dedicated to walking across a dragon to make you feel the size of it. I think Kralkatorg was, out of all the Elder Dragons, I know I didn't collect Albaba, by the way. I just kind of gave up on it. I was like, fuck it. I didn't want to jump up again. I think the way that they handled Kralkatorg was the best way, in the sense of trying to create a scale, right? Trying to really give us the scale of an Elder Dragon. Because of how they had us right on Oreen, and then they shrank us down, right? That's how they talked about. They talked about in that flight where you fly next to Kralkatorg and you like shoot at him and stuff like that. You're actually shrunk down in size to make Kralkatorg feel bigger. And then how we're only fighting his head. In a couple of instances, we only see his head. And then finally walking on his body, which is the actual map. I think that is the proper way to handle... I jumped over that bubble. Wait, where's the... Why can't I continue? What is happening? I'm lost in these woods. Hello? Let me out, please. I am lost. Oh, over here? Is it over here? I'm completely lost. I'm so turned around. Oh, there it is. Jesus. There was like a tree back there. I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna go to the dig spots. I'm not gonna really defeat any enemies here, because again, we're getting full on baubles, and once I hit like 750, I'll be sad if I can't collect any more. So. We saw the aftermath of that. We saw is the jungle and tendrils at the floor level. That's true. Yeah, that was kind of cool, right? You really get the feeling of like, you know, you fall to your death and you really realize like, oh, you're on the dragon. Like the forest is the, like these tendrils that are coming out, those are extensions of the body of Mordramoth. Yeah, you're right. That was kind of cool. I do agree on that. Yeah, I do like that. You see destroyed ship and you remember it was him. Yeah, I mean it's definitely they definitely handled those good, and like I said, I think, you know, going back to like the content and like the quality of content and stuff, like Heart of Thorns was really unrivaled. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest, after having been part of this community for such a long time, becoming a content creator for it, talking in detail on a lot of these issues, and you know, having other friends in the community like talking, like all of us kind of like talking about these things, I think I would be, and I don't know how other people would feel, I would be totally fine with a content drought for 6 months if we're gonna get a a complete, like, no update whatsoever for 6 months, okay? Beside maybe like the occasional like bug fix of something that's breaking, and like a festival or like an automated festival or something. But I would be okay with a 6 months content drought if we're getting a Heart of Thorns 2.0. Like, I would be okay with that. I would be hands down okay with that. I didn't go down here earlier. I am gonna go down here now. Hello? Where was the... Is it in here? Is it this wall? It is this wall. It's just Sylvari with thin legs. I mean, it's true, right? It's Epark's reveal was incredibly disappointing. And it wasn't even like... Because you say monster with fangs. It wasn't just that. Like, he was described as monsters with... fangs and talons. Okay, he definitely does not have talons. Like, he has little stick legs. Like, those are not talons. Okay, those are not talons to put fear into people. And there is other, they have talked about him in those terms of like describing his body parts, like, and they talked about how like he devours his like, how does this tiny little man devour, like, 90% of the other cryptids are bigger than him. You know, I was expecting some huge creature like Norus, right? That's what I was expecting, because they're talking about like he devours them, and I think like, oh, he devours them for their magic and stuff. And then yeah, and he, I don't remember where the whole, isn't it somewhere over here? It is. It's over there. You know, and they all talk about him in this like really disgusting manner. You know, they talk about him being this disgusting creature. Like Iskarn talks about him being like kind of like disgusted at Iskarn, and he's just described as this gross monster. Honestly, if someone would have been like, if they swapped the model of like Epark and Norus, I would be like, yeah, that tracks. Like, Norus is a disgusting, huge monster, and I feel like I would be more impressed by Norus being Epark than how it is now. Like 100 million%. Okay, like all of the percent. All of the fucking percent. I did get this, yeah, I did get this checkpoint, otherwise I wouldn't be here. I don't know why I questioned that. Ah! I made it. Get out of here, Captain Snake. Oh my god. What am I? In moron? I gotta get in there. I gotta get them furniture. Wait, what? Wait, was it this? Wait, where's the, I hit above? Too high? I did not think that was too high. I was like, I know it's in that wall. And it was. Yeah, I do know exactly what conversation you're talking about, because I did see that as well. And yes, I'm very upset as well, because, you know, they, like, honestly, in my opinion, like, when we saw Nurse, he was coming out of the portal, so I thought we are gonna see, like, other creatures like Nurse, but their whole bodies in Nios. I was thinking, like, in my mind, I was kind of, because, you know, we had just done a tour of the Realm of Torment and stuff like that. And in my mind, you know, I was just like, man, you know how, like, you walk around on the, like, dead bodies of the, like, spider, and you have that worm creature that's in the Realm of Torment and stuff. Like, that's what I was imagining, right? I was imagining, like, oh, there's, like, these dead Norse creatures that we're gonna be walking on. Like, you know, because I compared... and a lot of other people did too, compared Nios to Caelid from Elden Ring, right? And in that game, in Caelid, you actually have these, the skeletons of the giants are like strewn about, right? And they have the weird, like, red coral growth on them and stuff like that. Like, that's what I was imagining. I was imagining seeing, like, these giant skeletons of these dead demons, and they have been, like, you know, there's this corruption running through. I was not expecting because what we got is we got an Omnitas that had red corruption around it. Like, that's what we got. We got an Omnitas. Like, it looks like a corrupted Omnitas. It doesn't look like a demon realm, you know? And it's just kind of, again, it's kind of weird, you know? It just kind of feels weirdly off, and, like, not really how I would have made a demon realm, or at least a realm that demons have ruled for, you know, probably close to 10,000 years, right? Because the Mersat, for, like, they appeared in Tyria because they were driven out of their home, as far as we can gather from everything that we know, right? And the Mersat were there during the last rising of the Elder Dragon, which was 10,000 years ago. So they've been ruling Nios for a very long time. So you think that, oh, there was one that's alive. I was like, what is that moving behind me? I went the wrong one. I don't remember the way. I'm lost in the maze. Left, right? And then right, and then right, and there we go. Got it. So yeah, I just, you know, I like Nios. I think it's a pretty map. And it's not a theme park map. But I just find, like, having these human buildings. I mean, they have literally, like, human houses, right? Yes, they're, like, decrepit and, like, destroyed, and there's corruption all over them and stuff like that. But those are, like, human-made houses. Like, it's weird. I'm like, why would demons have human-made houses? Why would they, you know, the demons behave like humans, and they also live like humans. They need water, they need food. Every demon, like, we recently were introduced to demons, like, full on, right? With, like, the initial release of Secrets of the Obscure, right? We really got to look at some demons. Before that was only, like, Canaxai was, like, the only demon that we kind of dealt with. You know, not talking about Guild Wars 1, kind of talking about Guild Wars 2. But they were feeding on emotions. Like, we were 100% told that they feed on emotions. And then all of a sudden, it's being retconned to, no, they need water and food too. It's like, what? Then why make them demons? Why go and humanize the demons and make them, like, it's so weird. I'm like, they're boring. I'm like, I can fight Aether Blades and I get the same. Oh, this is a dig spot. What am I doing? This is the big one. This is the 50. 650. Yeah, exactly. Epark wouldn't even be lunch for Nourish. Nuris? I don't know how to say it, but I don't know how it's pronounced. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's so weird. It really feels like these last two releases have been really like I said, the impression that I got. Bringing an apple to Marganite. Yeah, I mean something like that, right? I think what's apparent, what I feel like is happening with the recent release with all the stuff is they had their seniors. Here's and I kind of talked about this recently. I'm gonna turn this on so I guess it's on here. What with recently with everything that's kind of been going on, I've talked about this. I think what happened. Here's what happened. Okay. And I hate when ArenaNet does this, but ArenaNet split their development team in two separate teams. Okay, they took their senior people. This is my theory because again, we don't know anything. Like ArenaNet is not transparent on their development. They use a lot of words to tell us absolutely nothing. Like if you go in with that mindset and you read some of their recent blog posts on the studio updates, and you go in with the mindset of they're giving us a lot of words but they're not giving us a lot of information, it'll make complete sense when you read through it, because they'll give us a whole paragraph and literally say absolutely nothing in this whole paragraph, and I'm like, what was this paragraph even about? You wrote all of this and you literally gave us no info. Like, it's so PR talkish, it's really annoying. But here's the thing. So they took all their seniors. This is my theory. They took all their senior staff and they had them make the initial expansion of Secrets of the Obscure, right? With Skywatch Archipelago, with Omnitas, with the Wizard's Tower, the whole story, you know, all those chapters. They had their senior people like write the stuff, come up with the stuff, the lore connections, all of these things, right? The people that have been at ArenaNet for a long time, they kind of understand the scope of the game. They understand the expectations. They know how to like handle these things, right? Blah, 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 whatever. And then and then the second team took over, which are all the new people that have never worked on this stuff. And they kind of are like, you know, it's kind of like the senior people laid the groundwork for the new people. And they were like, we're giving this to you. You're doing the next 3 updates, because Team A, the senior people, are going now and they're working on expansion, the next expansion. They're working on expansion 5 now, right? So they're done and they're handing it off to newer people, to the people that are inexperienced, not the senior people, right? And they're like, okay, we gave you groundwork. Here's all the stuff. You guys figure out what to do after this, okay? That's what it feels like to me. And then they completely disconnected the two teams, and they said, you know, the one team works in one room, the other team works in the other room, and the new team, they kind of were like, okay, they have Secrets of the Obscure, the initial release, and they're like, okay, now make bonus content for this. Now make more story content. We're going to not like they probably got directions of, we're going to Nyos, the end boss is Epark, go. Okay, and this is what it feels like. This is like, okay, they scrambled to come up with like, you know, the releases with content for them, with things in them, and kind of made everything convoluted and retconned a shit ton of stuff that the initial team had established, right? The initial team had established the whole feeding on the emotions and cryptos are evil and blah 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 blah, all this stuff. But then they kind of team B took it and they were just like, we don't know how to write demons. We're gonna do human characters. So they're hungry, they need food, they need water, they're scared, they're quirky, they're funny. That's what we make the cryptos. Like, it's weird. Like, that's what it feels like to me. It really feels like it was split into two teams. The first team did an amazing job because, like I said, the initial release blew me out of the water. I loved it. I had such a good time early on in Secrets of the Obscure, you know, I really was just like, okay, there was of course stuff lacking, you know, Omnitas felt a little samey, and I wanted the Bastions to feel very unique. Because when you look at the, like, Bastion of the Penitent, for example, which, you know, we were told was one of the Bastions at some point of Omnitas, the Bastion of the Penitent is very different to how the other Bastions are, right? And I was kind of expecting, you know, because it was used as a prison. Whether it was a prison all the time, we don't know. But, you know, it's just kind of, I really felt like they could have changed up the Bastions and stuff. I had, like, a little nitpicky stuff, you know, that I kind of talked about in my review of Secrets of the Obscure, of the initial stuff, you know? And I was like, I really felt like my thoughts were valid and stuff like that. But from that point on, it was just like, it only got worse. Like, it got really, really bad to the point where my initial issues that I had, I'm like, these don't even, they don't even matter at this point anymore, because everything that's coming out now is just really bad. Like, not really bad, but it's pretty bad. Like, it's pretty bad, you know, and the quantity of it is really bad. The constant retconning of everything that they just established. I mean, I'm okay with like retconning some stuff, and I'm okay with, you know, like I said, like, because I you know, Chicken Nubo and I, we kind of talked a little bit about it, and he really likes the idea that the Cryptus are more than just like these bloodthirsty demons, right? They have some, like, humanity, so to say, to them, right? Where they're, like, kind of, like, they have feelings, and they can be sad, and they can be... And you know what? I totally understand that. The problem is that it was such a 180 from what was established beforehand, that it feels really off. It feels really off. Like, I'm just like, well, they should have given us more than just Paitha being a little nice to us, which made us not like the Cryptus more. It actually made us more suspicious of her. Her behavior made us more suspicious rather than more understanding of the Cryptus in general, right? Like, her being nice to us and helping us and all this stuff, like, I was suspicious, right? Like, you can go back and you can actually look at my story summary that I did of Secrets of the Obscure, of the initial release that I did, which I was trying to be, like, funny in it and stuff like that. And you can actually see and you can actually hear, like, how I talk about, like, oh no, oh my god, I almost fell. Did you see that? Holy crap. Oh my god, I hate these guys. I hate the blue monkeys. They suck. Give me that bento box. Thank you. Or it's cake. It always looks like a bento box to me. I think it's a cake, right? I think that's what they're giving us. It always looks like a weirdly decorated bento box. That's what I imagine it being. But yeah, and you know, and it really felt like Paitha was kind of lying to us, and she was just using us, right? Which she might still be just using us, but she's actually turning out to be a very nice person, and having no ulterior motives. And I'm like, well, that's a boring. It's boring. It's just boring. I'm like, then bring, you know, if you want to do that, then just bring back, like, you know, then don't ruin the whole idea of demons. Just bring back, oh, I forgot that breaks. Oh my god, I fucked up. Then just bring back, you know, Dragon's Watch at that point, right? Like, if you're gonna humanize, you know, just bring back the Pact, you know, because the Astral Ward is like just the Pact again, you know. Bring back, I don't know, bring back some kind of enemy, some kind of generic, like, pirates or bandits, or, you know, even centaurs or something like that, you know. Because even they were more interesting enemies than the humanized demons. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm like too about it, but that's how I feel. I mean, it really feels strange to have these cryptas, and just like I said, it feels very retconny. It feels very like it just really feels like if you compare everything that is Nioh's and everything that was before. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, damn it. I didn't realize that jumping underneath it would break it. I guess that makes sense. But you know, compare those releases, and you can see that it really feels like two completely different teams worked on it, and I hate that. I hate it. I'm like, I absolutely hate that feeling. I don't want it to feel that. That was my thing with season 3. That was my thing. That's why I think overall season 4 was better, because season 3 had these like they had what, I think they had 2 teams, right? So team 1 did episode 1, team 2 did episode 2, team 1 did episode 3, team 4 did episode team 4, team 2 did episode 4, team 1 did episode 6, team 2 did episode 5, and team 2 did episode 6, right? They like swapped back and forth between it, and you could tell in the way that they were released, in the way that they looked, in the way that they felt, you could tell that like they were swapping back and forth between 2 teams, release teams, and you could really tell. And I, you know, in my opinion, it probably says something about the internal workings of ArenaNet as well, because it seems like they don't have a specific guideline on how they're supposed to, like the creators, you know, the developers, they get so much freedom that they don't have to follow certain guidelines on releasing content. Where it's not like, oh, this is how you're supposed to release a certain content, right? It's the way, like, when you look at the core maps, for example, like, there's a great example of this actually happening in the core maps. The way, and it's such a simple thing, but if you guys are really curious and you want to understand what it is that I'm exactly talking about, if you go into the open world, if you ever do that, look at the way that water buckets work. Not the animations of them, because the animations have been funky since the day that they have been released, but really seriously look at how they work. Because sometimes some water buckets you will have infinite uses of, and some water buckets you only get one-time use out of it. Or when you walk around the game and and you're doing like different hearts, or different events or something, and they have you carry something like a sack or a box or something, look at what you get out of like the skills that you get. Because you always, when you carry anything in the game of Guild Wars, they usually give you speeds, a skill, like something to you know, where you get speed. So they're always different. They have these different skills that they don't give you one set of skills for carrying something. They're always different. They're different icons. They behave differently. Some of them are like their own boons that you get on your boon bar, and some of them they just give you swiftness. And it's so weird because it really shows that there's different people that worked on this. One guy was just like, I'll just give, you know, this is just gonna give swiftness. That's all it's gonna do. And another guy was like, oh, well, I'm gonna create a skill, a boon that gives you like speed, specifically for this like bundle that you have to carry around with you, right? And it's so weird, and it shows you, and it's things like that show you that there's different teams that worked on it, and maybe that has something to do with like the internal workings of not having specific guidelines, and which is not necessarily a bad thing, because it gives the developers creative freedom, which is a good thing to have, right? It's good to give your developers this creative freedom of being able to create anything and not micromanaging your teams, you know, not micromanaging your team to the point where it's like, you have to do it this way, you have to do this, you have to do that, right? But it just becomes apparent, and that's what's happening with Secrets of the Obscure. It's becoming very apparent that this is like different teams working, you know? Sometimes I think ArenaNet fires people, and new ones only think how to put some gay couple in the story, and that's all they do all day. I think that whole opinion about how like they try to do You know, they try to like they have this gay agenda or whatever. Not necessarily wrong. I feel like it's definitely something where they put a little bit too much emphasis on, where they're like, oh, look at us, how inclusive we are, right? It's kind of like, it's so hard to describe. So it almost feels like you're in school, for example, and you have like, you know, you're like in art class or whatever, right? And it's more of like a creative thing, right? And the teacher says, here's a little bit of a guideline of what I want you guys to draw. Like, I want you guys to draw, you know, an environment. It could be like you know, and they don't, and they kind of give examples, right? They say like, I want you to drive me, I want you to draw me or paint me a landscape, right? The teacher says, I want you to draw me a landscape. And so the kids, let's say they're like really young kids, right? They're very impressionable kids, very young, and they all want to do good, right? So they ask, well, teacher, what would you like us to paint or draw, you know, for a landscape? And the teacher says, well, you know, anything that you would like, anything that you can imagine. And the teacher ends up giving an example, like, oh, maybe like, you know, a forest with a river that runs through it, and there's, you know, some pretty plants here and some pretty trees here, and, you know, it's spring, so the flowers are blooming and there's butterflies and whatever, right? So there's gonna be some kids that are taking that, you know, and they're like, okay, and they create this amazing landscape and it looks cool, and it's like, you know, I don't know, a mountain range or whatever, right? I don't know. Whatever. They're, you know, apparently these are like the best painters ever, because I'm just talking about these amazing things that they could never draw. But so they draw, you know, one kid draws a mountain range or whatever with like, you know, a Yeti on it or whatever, right? He gets kind of like, ooh, whatever, there's a Yeti on it, whatever, right? I'm a little kid, so I'm drawing that. But then another kid takes that super literal, and they draw exactly a forest with a river running through it. Right? So it's kind of in that sense as well. So it kind of feels like the management of ArenaNet says, you know, we want to show people that we're inclusive, right? And we want to kind of show, so some of the developers take that so to heart that they're like, we have to put a non-binary character in there, and we have to put a gay couple in there, and we have to mention it at least once. At least once we have to mention it. Right? They take the teacher's instructions of, we want to be we're an inclusive community of these free spirits, these free-minded people, which is great to have. Is great, right? There's no judgment at the workplace. There's like, I feel like the working conditions for ArenaNet are probably really good in the sense that, you know, that you see them come on stream and they have funky hair and they look really cool and they can wear whatever they want, right? And it's like, oh man, you know, it's kind of relaxed. You know, you don't have to go in and you have to wear like a suit and tie to your fucking job every day. You can come in there and you can wear whatever the fuck you want to, as long as you do a good job, right? They don't give a shit, right? They want you to be free-spirited, they want you to be creative, and they want you to let that flow. But then there's some people that, and I think that goes back into the discussion of, you know, the newer people will follow those directions more closely rather than the senior people. The senior people will take like, oh, we got to be inclusive, and they're like, oh yeah, maybe we'll have like a character over here, like kind of mention something on the side or whatever, you know, kind of like talk about my boyfriend and it's a guy. Oh my god, how disastrous is that, right? Like how scandalous, you know. But they might just be like, yeah, we'll just add that in, right? We'll just add that on the side somewhere and that's fine. Where new people are like, no, in the story we need to have a gay couple so that we show our bosses that we know what they mean when they say we're inclusive. And we need to show them that we accept non-binary people. Like, we need to show that to a player base. We need to show them that, right? So we need to have that in the story. Yao needs to be a non-binary character, and we need to have that, like, pointed out at least once. So, you know, obviously, I feel like I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's kind of what it feels like, right? It kind of feels like that in a sense. Oh, yay, we get some problems. continue coins and furniture things. Oh, we got 18 already. We're doing really good. All right, let's do infantile mode of World 2, guys. Let's do it. I feel kind of empty. Mystery's gone. It wasn't so cool mystery after all. Well, it wasn't necessarily that it wasn't such a cool mystery. It was a cool mystery, but the problem is that everything, and again, this goes into discussion of two different teams, because it really feels like we had all this stuff established, and then we go, you know, we talk about the tower and all the like the things going on in the background with the wizard's cord and like all these things, right, that are going on. You know, and we go to the tower and we hear about the Mersad and the Seer, right? We get like a lot of background info on all of these things, right? We're getting all this info, and you know, lore revelations everywhere. We hear Janthir's getting mentioned. We hear like there is a lot of stuff that we're getting dropped right in the initial release, and then we go to Nyos, and we're completely cut off from everything. Nothing mattered, right? Look at it this way. Take the initial release of Secrets of the Obscure once again and compare it to the new release. And let's say, okay, let's take it this way. So take the initial release of Secrets of the Obscure, and that's your Secrets of the Obscure, and take everything that's happening in Nyos, disconnect the two, say that they're not the same expansion, slap a different name on it. So we have Guild Wars 2, the Secrets of the Obscure, and Guild Wars 2 Realm of Dreams is the next expansion, right? Which is all the Nyos stuff. And you can see if you not physically, but if you like mentally put a disconnect, like you manually put a disconnect in there, you can see those are very different products. Like the Astral Ward in the Nyos map, it's so weird. So we meet the Astral Ward, right? And there's supposed to be this secret organization that, yes, they do have like a little bit of a military power, right? And they have a little bit of like you know, they go down to Tyria and they close the rifts and stuff like that, because this is a struggle that's been going on for a long time, you know, and they kind of like, it's kind of weird that we've never seen it before, but let's just say the coincidence is that we have traveled the world, and maybe the cryptists have been kind of focusing on mostly like core Tyria for a long time or something, and we haven't really been there. We've been busy with doing like other things in the world, you know, dealing with other things. Oh my god, I lost my train of thought. I really just, like, my train of thought, like, just choo-choo fucking crash into wall. What was I gonna say? So, what was the point of that? So, I was talking about, the Cryptus. Oh, yeah, the Astral Ward. So, the Astral Ward. So, we get this impression of this Astral Ward being the secret organization with these wizards at its helm, and they're kind of, you know, they're doing experiments in the mists, right, with the fractals and stuff, and they're kind of like these powerful people that are like working in the background, right? We go into Nyos, and the Astral Ward becomes a organized military force. Like, I shit you not. Like, look at the Astral Ward, which are only part of the Astral Ward, the people that are there. It's fucking weird, because they're all of a sudden they're talking about how, look at the characters that you see of the Astral Ward. They're not like corporals. They're corporals. They're like these lieutenants, captains. They have all these like military ranks. I'm like, where did the military ranks come from? They didn't ever have military ranks. All of a sudden, all of these Astral Ward are military ranks. Like, it feels like we're back dealing with the Pact. Like, the Astral Ward that's in Nyos could just easily be replaced. Like, you can't really replace the initial Secrets of the Obscure Astral Ward with the with the Pact, because it wouldn't really fit, because they feel different in the initial release. But then you go into the Nios, and they feel like the Pact, and they're even named like the Pact because they have military ranks now. And I'm like, since when? Like, I know they have like their forces and stuff, and they go down, but it's still like this magical hidden society of people that are doing, you know, it's the Astral Ward. They're dealing with magical things. You know, they're fighting to defend Tyria from, you know, outside of, you know, the scope of like what regular wars are like and stuff. But they have military ranks like the Pact, like the Vigil, you know, like those things, and it's so weird to me. And like I said, it really goes back into it feels like a different group of people, a group of people that didn't really understand the assignment was supposed to continue this whole idea. So when we go back and we talk about the mystery of the tower, right? We see references to the Order. They talk about the Order. We see the past of the Seers, right? Like we hear about the like speech that the leader of the Seers had, you know, at the Bloodstone caves. We see the like the you know, the mental image, you know, it's not a hologram, but it's like the hologram of the fucking seer or whatever. You know, we learn about the Staff of the Mist and the Scepter of Ore, you know, like they actually have names, right? We get all these like lore revelations, right? We get a little bit of a hint of like, you know, the morally gray that the Astral Ward is, because Waiting Sorrow leaves, right? She's one of the wizards and she leaves. We get all these, like, we hear about the Golden Lake of Janthier. We hear about how like Mabon joined, right? How a Seer and a Mersat ended up like pretty much in the same organization fighting for the same thing. Like all of these things were going on, you know. It's like if you look at the Wizard's Court, they're all part of the like the elder races, the ancient elder races, right? Like we have a Jotun, we have a dwarf, we have a Mersat, we have a Seer, and we did have a Forgotten at some point, which was then, which we then got Waiting Sorrow, which you know, is a Codan, but then, you know, they left, and but you know, it's so cool. I mean, it was really cool. Like the whole thing was really awesome. And then going to Nios was such a disconnect. We drop all of these things. None of that mattered. None of it mattered. Like I said, if you make that mental barrier, you split those two things apart, it doesn't even feel like the same expansion. It doesn't even feel like the same expansion to me. At all. Like, it doesn't at all. The only thing that they have in common is that, like, Peitha is there, that the Midnight King is the bad guy, but like I said, you replace that in the initial Secrets of the Obscure with a different enemy that you fight at the end. Instead of Ceres, instead of fighting a Cryptus at the end, you fight a different enemy, and then you go into the next expansion and you replace the Astral Ward that's there with the Pact or a different organization. You have two completely different things. Those are the only things that are overlapping in the you know, the initial release to the releases in Nios. The only things that are overlapping is the Cryptus and the Astral Ward. Like, you separate those two, you give the Cryptus Nios, and you give the Astral Ward to the Archipelago and Amnitas and the Wizard's Tower, and you have completely different expansions. You have two completely different releases that have nothing to do with each other. Like, and it's crazy. It's really. I'm like, I'm more curious than shocked. I'm curious as to why it's like that. But that is how it is. It's very strange. And so you know, and the, you know, and going back to the mysteries, like, it makes me question why did they bring up Legavo and Moment, right? The Scepter of War and the Staff of the Mist. Like, why did they bring Livia into the story? There was no reason. They could have introduced another new character, but they chose to bring an old character back and touch on these seer artifacts from a long time ago. Okay, why did they talk to us about, like, they mentioned Janthier a couple of times. You know, they talked about how Omnitas at some point was above Janthier, or was supposed to be above Janthier. They move it all around all the time. You know, the Beacon of the Ages, right? Why was that placed there? The Beacon of the Ages has zero relevance to the story. It's literally just a lore drop of like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, the Wizard's Folly Tower, it's actually an ancient artifact from before, like, even Iskarin walked or floated on this planet, you know. But why? What is it all for? What is the relevance of all of it? We got introduced to all of these things, all of these lore threads, and none of it resolved. We left it all to go deal with Cryptus and Nyos, and none of it is relevant. Like, nothing we learned is relevant in the new map. So why talk about all of these things? That's my question. I'm not saying that that was wrong to do. I'm not saying that I'm mad that these things happened. But why do these if we're not going to address any of it? Why talk about these things if you're just going to do the same thing? That was a huge thing that the initial release of Guild Wars 2 fucked up on. It was the core story of Guild Wars 2. Okay, the personal story. The one thing that the personal story got wrong was opening all these lore threads and not having them lead anywhere. And some of them they were able to resolve, and some of them they were not able to resolve because they had 25 billion different lore threads that they opened with the personal story and didn't finish any of them. So over the last, 12 years, they've been trying to kind of like, tie up some of these lore threads, and some of them they were able to do, and some of them they had to skip. Okay, so what's a good example of this? Because I want to substantiate these arguments that I'm making with good examples. So here's a good example. One thing that they were able to tie up pretty neatly and nicely was the blue orb, right? The blue orb was at some point right before we actually went into Ore, was a huge story part, because it was a thing that was stolen from Fort Trinity. We didn't know the effects. It came from Naga lands. Where they got it from was a question. It kept, it shielded its users, the surrounding area around it, from dragon corruption. Like all these things, right? It was this thing that like worked so magically, and they didn't know how that worked. The pack didn't know how it worked, and they were like, we're trying to figure it out. Still, we don't really know how it works, but it does work. They go back in End of Dragons and give us the whole, like, there's more of them. They're called the Eyes of the Sea or something like that. Suwan created them to shield the humans from the corruption of specifically the Risen, and it makes sense. It's like, oh, okay. So there they did a great job. They took this loose thread that they created in the personal story, and then they finished it off at some later point. And it's like, okay, that's satisfying, right? Because I'm satisfied because I can go through the whole story now, and I might have that in my mind, like, man, I wonder what happened to that, that blue orb, like, what the fuck is going on with that, right? And as I play the story, I go into End of Dragons, and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? Same thing so the other side of that is, right? Because the argument is like, you open too many lore threads, and you won't be able to get all of them finished. Like, you won't be able to fit them all into your story because you've opened too many of them, and you want to close them at some point. You want to tie them up at some point, but you can't do that if there's just so many, because the story can only have that big of a scope, right? So another one that I was thoroughly disappointed on, and I made a whole video about it, was the Sanguinary Blade. Okay, the Sanguinary Blade in the story, this is when, if you're taking the path with Siren, with the prior, if you join the Priory in the personal story and you hang out with Siren, you actually deal with the Sanguinary Blade, which is this blade that was made from Jormag's frozen blood. Okay, and the story is that you're trying to it was stolen or something from the Priory, or no, it was discovered in an ancient dwarven catacomb, was taken by the Svanir, and you have to like seal it back into a sheath, or you have to create a sheath and for it, because it just attracts this like evil, right? It's this evil artifact, right? And I had a whole video on it. You guys can go watch it. I made a whole video on just talking about how I felt like this needed to be in Icebrood Saga, because we were dealing with Jormag, and it was actually interesting because Jormag and Primordus were each other's weaknesses, right? And then we had a fiery bow that was infused with Jotun magic that could hurt Jormag. So in my mind, the proper way to deal with that, because we're dealing with opposites, right? We're dealing with, like, we're fighting each other, was they would bring back the Sanguinary Blade. It's an icy dragon sword that could hurt Primordus, right? So we have a weapon, a bow that can hurt Jormag, and we have a sword that can hurt Primordus, right? We had like these two, they had this great opportunity of like, oh, we have two weapons that are the opposite of each other that can hurt the other dragon, and we're trying to destroy the other dragons. And they could have brought that into the story. They could have had Bram, instead of being upset that his bow was stolen, somehow in the story they could have built it in that he gets the Sanguinary Blade. And he's walking around with the Sanguinary Blade now. He's a guardian, so he can wield a great sword or a sword. That's part of his, skill set, right? So that wouldn't be like, oh my god, this is kind of weird that they're, it's not like how Marjorie was wielding a greatsword before the Reaper specialization came out. No, it's a weapon that he can carry. That would have made total sense, but they never did that. And that's the problem with, you lose sight of the threats that you have established if you have too many of them. There was too many lore threads, and they lost sight of that. Because I feel like if someone had reminded them about it, they would have had a way to put that in there in Icebrood Saga, but it didn't work out. So that's my fear with Secrets of the Obscure. Right? The whole point of me saying this is my fear is that with all of these lore threads that have now opened up, that have now been brought back to all the things that I just mentioned earlier. We have the elder races we're dealing with. We're talking about Janthier. We're talking about seer artifacts like Legavo and Mulmund. We're talking about there's so many things that I can't even think about right now, like that are not even coming to mind. There's all these different things that Secrets of the Obscure opened up initially with, and then we're not in the releases now. We're not talking about any of them. So what is going to happen to these lore threads that you opened up? What's going to happen to them? You brought them to our mind, but for what reason? Why did you bring them up? Just to kind of say, oh yeah, we haven't forgotten about all of these things, but we're not telling you about it. Well, that's kind of fucking stupid, because that's like, that's like the carrot on the stick. Like, we're never gonna get to the carrot at that point. It's like you're kind of, you're waving that in front of our face, but we're not getting any of it. So that's my fear when we're talking about the tower and the mystery of the tower and stuff like that. They can deepen this. They can connect all of these things together. You know, they can talk a little bit about the history of the tower and what it's been doing and you know, because it has a mind of its own. Like, that was another thing, right? They established that the tower has this mind of its own, that it moves around at its own like accord, and that it closes itself off when it wants to, and that it really only trusts Iskarin. And it's like, okay, well, what does that mean for the story at large, for the lore, for you know, for the characters, for the Pact Commander? What does that mean, going to the tower? Nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And it has no relevance to the story beside us having to open 75 different doors when we're trying to get into the tower, even though the Cryptus can just walk right in and be perfectly fine and just spawn in everywhere, but we have to go through each of the doors and open each of the doors just to make the story longer. Like, really? That's the only reason that the tower has a mind of its own? It seems strange to me, you know? I thought it was a... I will ever say it, but Iceberg Saga is above Secrets of the Obscure because VR Marches looks gorgeous, and we got 2 new mobs, Ice Giant and Bone Skinner. Yeah, not wrong. I feel like... I don't know. As someone that's really interested in the lore, I think I'm gonna actually... You know what? I'm gonna buy this. This is 5 baubles. I'm gonna... No, I did. Drink it. Drink it. There it goes. Wrong button. Oh, that's just 1 health? Well, that's stupid. Alright, whatever. You suck. I can probably find a cake somewhere more easily. Just gonna fight these guys. There's an apple. Secrets of the Obscure was just... There was a lot of lore stuff that I really like... disliked. I really hated Drakkar. I just did Drakkar the other day, and I'm still so mad about how Drakkar was handled. I am so angry at how Drakkar was handled. So angry. I really hate, and the strikes were good. The strikes were good, and we got a lot more strikes as well. Like, we got the same arena, but then we got different enemies in the arena, right? And then we got other strike missions. I mean, yeah, I mean, Iceberg Saga, I think content-wise, it was probably better than Secrets of the Obscure, as of right now. Reward-wise, though, I gotta say it's not as good, because getting like a legendary weapon and stuff with Secrets of the Obscure, or a legendary, fucking legendary armor and stuff, I think that kind of tops some of that stuff. I got a free 1-man. A 1-up. Yeah, I mean, BR Marches is pretty cool. BR Marches, like I talked about earlier, the other day, I talked about how it's a very, it's a theme park map, at least the first part of it. I'm not a fan of theme park maps, so it just felt... It's a nice map. I like maps that... where there's like... I like maps that have a little bit of a balance of... There's some civilization that you can see, people to talk to, and then like sections where you fight enemies. In BR Marches, you have like everywhere wants to kill you. There's no area that's like, oh, this is kind of cool and I want to talk to this, except for the 2 waypoints that you have there where there's like a little outpost, right? But I like a little bit of a balance in that. So yes, BR Marches is definitely beautiful. You are correct. It's a nice looking map overall, and I'm nitpicking here, clearly. Is it better than Secrets of the Obscure? It's hard to say because we haven't seen all of Secrets of the Obscure, right? The question here is how much will we see in Secrets of the Obscure? Like, how much more will we see? Oh my god, I did that too early. So mad. So mad. Alright, let's do it. Let's play tennis. What the fuck was that? Janky ass fucking shit, ArenaNet. What the fuck is this? This is just stupid. I'm just gonna fight this. Alright, like this. Yeah, and I agree the strike missions were really good. Whisper of Jormag is actually one of my favorite strike missions. I really like that one a lot. I'm gonna die here. Oh, I made it. I'm gonna find some food. Is there food in here? Nope, but there's a bubble. Oh, food. Oh, fills me up all the way. Beautiful. Wrong button. Oh. Yeah. All of those threads, yeah, they're all, I mean, they're gone for now. It's again, and I want to reiterate, like, you know, this is where it goes with transparency, right? ArenaNet prides themselves in their transparency, quote unquote, right? I was playing, so I couldn't actually make quotation marks. They you know, they talk about, oh, we want to be more transparent with the player base, and we want to let them know everything that's going on. It's like, then tell us a little bit. Like, they talked about, you know, we know that something that there was some kind of Living World Season 6 was scrapped somehow, and literally Yellow Delve was the only thing that they had come out of it, because they talked about Empress Een coming to Divinity's Reach. They talked about that numerous times, okay? And then that never happened. So I guess the point is like, I wish they would talk about these things in a sense of like, oh yeah, we're gonna do something with this, right? The transparency that I'm looking for is, don't think that all the things that we just introduced in Secrets of the Obscure are not relevant. They're gonna become relevant. Like, I just want someone to tell me that. Then I'll be like, oh, okay. Then I feel like, okay, well, there's a point to them introducing all of these things and talking about it. But ArenaNet is so not transparent that I have no idea what's happening. Okay, we're going to the Woodland Cascades, and it's like, okay, does that mean Janthier, or are you doing something else? Like, I'm gonna need a little bit more, because if we're going to Janthier, then I can probably think, okay, we're gonna get some Seer stuff and Mersat stuff and the Golden Lake of Janthier, and we're probably gonna talk about artifacts like Moment and Legavo, and like these things are gonna come into play, right? But if we're going to like Ascalon, so okay, well, is then the Beacon of the Ages? Is that gonna come into play? You know, is that gonna be part of it? Like, is the Order gonna be something that we're gonna talk about? You know, are they like still around or something? Like, you know, if we're going there, like, we need more details to keep the player base engaged in the things that you started a year ago, right? Like, that's kind of what I'm talking about when I say transparency. You know, it's kind of weird. Like, there's this weird disconnect, I feel like, between what ArenaNet gives us to, like they expect us to know something that we don't fucking have a clue about. Like, we don't know what you guys have planned. We don't know what you guys want to do. Rainbows everywhere. Where was the... Wait. How do I... Wait, what am I doing? I need to go up, not down. Why was I looking down? I was like looking down for the gong, but it's above me. Why? Why was I doing that? That was really strange. That was like my brain was fighting itself. Because the whole time I was like, I need to look up, but instead I was just like looking down for the gong. And I was like, the gong is above me. Why am I looking down? And that's when that's why I fell, because I completely lost all focus on. I'm like, what the hell? Am I stupid? All right, there it is. Open, open Cheshire. We got a violet behemoth. I'm sorry. Don't forget that we got not just one, but 3 reused wyvern bosses. You know, and we had the same you know, and 2 of the same boss types. Because the Demon Knight or whatever he is and Ignaxius are like the same character. They don't name him the same character, which makes them different characters, but they're the same characters. Like, let's get real. They're the same character. Have I even finished? Oh, I have finished. Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, have I even been... Okay. I was gonna say, am I even working on any of these annual ones? Oh, I'm not doing Tribulation or Classic. Yeah, I'm gonna do Classic. And Testing, I'm gonna do as well. Flight of the... Complete the race. Oh, I can do the race at some point. Anyways, we're gonna continue. I just want to make sure that I'm actually not doing just stuff that's not relevant. Everyone, poop out some rainbows for me. Oh. We did it. We did it. Let's go. Yeah, so I don't know. I really, like I said, there's this, I have this weird, you know, talking specifically about the lore threads and the interesting things that have happened, there's this weird disconnect where they're like, they kind of were like, we're introducing we're gonna not introduce, like, that's the thing. All of the lore threads that we got in Secrets of the Obscure, like 90% of them are all like stuff that we already knew in game. It just hadn't been addressed in a long time. So it's really strange to just kind of introduce that and then not talk about it. Like, again, why did you bring that up? You know, I want to have some blog post updates on, like, you know, I don't know, just kind of give us something where I can put some confidence in, like, okay, this is going to become relevant. This is something we're going to be talking about, right? Like, Legavo and Moment is something that's going to happen. Like, we're going to go to the Isles of Janthier, and we're going to talk about Moment, Legavo. We're going to talk about Mabon. We're going to talk about Isgarin, their past, what's up with the Seers, what's up with the Mersad, and that. Like, tell me that's becoming relevant. No, the only thing that I know right now is that you gave me a really a picture. You showed me a picture, and that's it. You've shown me one picture of a landscape that could be anywhere, guys. Like, the speculation that I did, and that a lot of us did, like, I was clearly, obviously not the only person. There was a lot of other people, like, Wooden Potatoes did about 30 minutes as well. It was really funny how we both had, like, about the same amount of time that we spent on our videos. It was kind of funny. But, you know, we're all speculating either Ascalon or Woodland Cascades. It could be somewhere completely different. It could be Dazalana, right? It could be over there. It could be anywhere, right? And that's kind of like, you know, it's just, it's weird that, I was like, where am I going? And then the bridge appeared underneath me, and I was like, oh, there it is. You know, it's just, like I said, it feels very disconnected. The current story feels very disconnected to the story that was established early on in the lifetime of Secrets of the Obscure. The initial release of Secrets of the Obscure. It feels very, very disconnected and different, and like I said, it feels like two completely different expansions to me. And that, you know, and that doesn't bring me any. Wait, is that? Oh, that was mine. I was like, that's my little bubble. That's all. Okay. Wait, I've been here already? Oh, I don't know. I'm just running through this. This is gonna be a lot more complicated when I'm actually like doing this. Should I go down? Oh my god, are you kidding? But you know, I don't know, and that's the thing, because you know, ArenaNet, like ArenaNet has released, the problem is with ArenaNet, it's not that they don't release good stuff, but ArenaNet has very high highs and very low lows when it comes to their content, right? Initial release of Secrets of the Obscure is pretty high-ish. Okay, we only got like what? One strike? Did we get both strikes initially and then we didn't get challenge mode until later or something? Even if, you know, it's like, you know, and then it's the initial, what we got initially, right, was pretty decent. And then, you know, what's coming after that is like low, right? And it's very like I would like it to be closer together. You know, but I would hate for them to like lower the quality. You know, I'd rather up the quality of the bottom one, obviously. So ArenaNet can release really good stuff. Is the next expansion going to be really good? I don't know. We know nothing about it. Why can't I get on this? Sir, let me on you. Oh, thank God I got bumped right back onto the Rainbow Bridge and I'm dead. So, I don't know. I've been babbling, just going off, you know. And it's not, you know, a lot of my rants, I get very passionate about them. And my rants are not about, oh my god, ArenaNet sucks, and I will never play Guild Wars 2 again, and every other game in the world is better. Is better. It's nothing like that, you know. It's just, I say it because I care, and I say it because I just want to understand. I'm one of those people that, like, I always question everything. This is how I was brought up, and I recently talked to my sister about this because it's very true. We were brought up to question everything. Okay, so we question everything. So if someone can't give me a good answer, or if I don't get a good answer, or if I don't get anything, then I feel kind of like, why? Like, why can't you give me an answer to this question today? Right? Shoot you. Bam. There you go. Mr. Storm Wizard. Ah. I've always thought about making maybe like an old man character, like a wizard type character. Like that. I think that would be kind of cool. I think there's some fashion to be done, to be made. Do I have to refight him all over again? That's annoying. Where is he? Oh no, he's almost dead. Okay. Fuck you. Whoa, whoa. You think you've beaten me? Now you will see my true form. What's going on with the text box there? Did you see it? He was like pointed the other way. Hey Emily, welcome. How are you gonna for free and pay for this reused crap? Well, Thunderhead is kind of reused as well. I mean, Thunderhead didn't have barely any new assets either. But yeah, I don't know. I really feel like I said, I mean, I've been very ranty today and just kind of talking about that stuff, but that's kind of how I feel. You know, I don't know if I don't want to sound like I'm shit talking ArenaNet, because obviously that's what people probably will think I'm doing, but I'm really not. You know, I'm really not trying to be an asshole. I'm just trying to understand where it's going from. But yeah, it's a good question. I mean, you know, the quality has just dropped. You know, between, you know, season 3 and season 4 were peak ArenaNet. Season 3 Path of Fire, season 4 were peak ArenaNet. Oh my god, I forgot that I needed to attack him now. Well, I messed that up. Holy crap. Jesus. Oh, wait, what? What just happened here? Okay, that was kind of strange. Yeah, I guess they added some Dwarven stuff. Yeah, I guess so, but yeah, I mean, we did get that, and we, you know, and we did get some answers as to like the dwarves and stuff, so that was nice. You know, that was also a lore thread that was kind of like, okay, well, what's going on with the dwarves? You know, it's like, what's happening with them? Oh, okay, oh. Yeah, I wish that Dwarven treasure room would have been more relevant. The Dwarven treasure room was really, really cool, because that's exactly what I love. I'm one of those people that really, really loves like dungeon delving, like delving through like little catacombs and dungeons and stuff like that for treasure. I love that kind of shit. I love it. So that was one of those things that I really, really, really enjoyed. Yeah, I really, really like that, but I just wish it had more relevance on, like, you know, there was more to do, or there was a reason to do it more often. You know, it's like, just, you know, give me like a Jade Runestone in there or some weird shit. You know, it's a treasure room. Like, give me something that's relevant to something, to making something. Like, give me a provisioner's token so I can work on like that type of stuff. You know, give me something towards like legendary crafting, where it's like, this is gonna be something that if I want to make another legendary, I can just, you know, do that every day and I'll get some of that. The Waylid Lantern collection? What do you mean? Oh, I was like, whoa, there was a lot happening on screen. I was like, don't really know what's going on there, but robbers are coming. Come here, fucker. No! See, they keep stealing one from me, and I keep getting one back from them. So it's equivalent exchange. I'm not actually getting anything extra. Those two, I did get something. Yeah, what do you mean by Waylid lantern? Oh, I was gonna wear... Speaking of loyalty points, I was gonna wear my one hat today. I was gonna wear my cone hat, because it looks like... Oh, I was gonna wear my cone hat, because he looks like the sun in the Super Adventure box. See? He looks like the sun. Kind of. Whatever. He's a lion. He's a lion. Wow, I have 19 of these. Alright, let's collect this. Boom, boom. Oh, look at that! 251. You know what that means? We got exactly one. Well, that's not it. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Awesome. So Golem Buster weapon, and we get a powered shoulders. The powered shoulders. Ooh. Interesting. Waylet. I guess I did some of it. Speak to Retriever by defeating Avatars of Rage. Gain favor with Elric by defeating the possessed sword of Drachnos Forge. Oh, yeah, the little weapon. One of the weapons you get. You okay? Okay. Yeah, one of the weapon things. I did not do that because I was like, I don't use torches, and I was like, I can't be bothered. So I did not do that, but yeah, I did part of it. Alright, World 2. Oh, do it. Don't tell me what to do. Yeah, no, I will do it at some point. Yeah, well, you can always, you know, you miss the hats, you have the points. You have all the points in the world, you can redeem them. I'm pretty sure it still works. Should work. About Lear. Yeah, I mean, I'll do it at some point. That's definitely something that I want to, before the next expansion. So I'll probably at some point do a stream before the next expansion where I'm going to go through and do a bunch of the Secrets of the Obscure. I don't think I'm missing out on too much if I've skipped this, right? Like, is there a lot that way? I don't think there is. I'm just gonna go. I'm not going for speed here, but I'm going for convenience, okay? Like, I'm going with whatever is more convenient. If it's like annoying and long, I'm not dealing with it. Great. I don't know. I know that. Really? You fucking stupid turtle ass motherfucker. Sorry. There was the evil Kevin came out for a second. I was like, you turtle. You're my end. Alright, anyways. Going back. I'm gonna go the proper way. Whee. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of stuff that showed that they didn't forget about this one thing, you know? And that's exactly what kind of my point is. It's like they showed us they didn't forget about all of these different things, but to what end? You bring it up, but what's the point of it? How are you concluding these things? Bringing them back is fine, but how are you gonna finish their story? Like, what's going on with Waiting Sorrow? So let's talk a little bit about Waiting Sorrow, right? Being a Kodan, and she like leaves the Wizard's Court on her own accord, and you know, for one reason or another, we don't really know. It sounds like she found something out about the world or the wizard's court or something, and she was like ready to just like part ways with them. Okay. Creates the Heart of the Obscure, which is this like weird artifact that's like the like Deus Ex Machina, right? Instead of a person this time around, we have the Heart of the Obscure. Because for everything and anything that they need something to happen for in the game now, they use the heart. They're like, oh yeah, the heart can do that. Why? Because it can. Oh, you want to detect invisible foes? Well, I'll just modify your Heart of the Obscure. 5 minutes ago, no one knew what the Heart of the Obscure was. How can you modify it now to have different functions? Okay, this is not a technical device that Timey can be like, oh, I'll rig it a little bit and you know, your communicator can now detect like unseen forces. Like, it's not like that. It's literally like this weird magical object that was created by a very powerful wizard, and that wizard has now left the premise, and no one knows anything about anything. Weird, right? Like, what was the original point of that? I don't know. I went on a little rant, but you tell that turtle. Oh my god. You tell that turtle who's boss. But yeah, I don't know. Point was kind of, I guess, something about, you know, ArenaNet, you know, whoa. What? Whoa, that was weird. Why did I trip? Was it the water that I tripped over? I think I tripped over the water. Oh, almost didn't make that. Yeah, I'm not going down into that bear-infested cave. I'm gonna fight this guy right here. Oh, stop. Die. I want that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I really want some of these lore threads. Like, so the question then is, you know, after all of this saying, all of this stuff, right? I've kind of laid the ground rules on how I feel about the expansion, how I feel about the next expansion. But so the next expansion, if I was presented this next expansion, what would I consider a bad start into the expansion? Or like if it was announced, like, from someone that likes the lore and the story and like that stuff, like, what would I consider like, ooh, that's not good? Well, if we don't address any of the lore threads that have been opened up during the Secrets of the Obscure, right? I would be very upset with that. So I could go this way, but I kind of want to go in and defeat the raccoon dude in here. Is there more coming? Jesus, they're so slow. The bees are like much faster. It's the last one. Not really me. I would be like, I just want ArenaNet for the next expansion to take some of those lore threats and do something with them, right? Oh, I was talking about Waiting Sorrow. So Waiting Sorrow, it's kind of weird, right? They introduce Waiting Sorrow, or don't really introduce, but they talk about Waiting Sorrow, and then they do, yeah, come on, fucker. Get closer. I don't want to destroy. I hate destroying the tree stump at the same time. Oh my god. I didn't know. I thought they could only hurt you once they explode. I guess I was wrong. Ah, you whacked me. So Waiting Sorrow got introduced, right? And you know, we hear about what's going on with Waiting Sara and blah 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 blah, and then they have in the game they have Koda's Claw. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The it was data mined. It's this dagger skin that's actually a claw. It was data mined to be in the game. There's a code. You can actually put that on your character right now in a preview window. Okay. Okay, so I can destroy the stump, but I can't reach the kingpin. Your house is on fire, mister. Oh my goodness, are you serious? And it's really strange. Like, they have that weapon, it was in there. It was one of the, I think it was like the first release after Secrets of the Obscure added it in, or one of the like in-between updates or something added it in, but they never made it available. So we have this weapon in game. It's a purple claw-like weapon. It's called Koda's Claw, and it's not been made available. So it kind of makes me question: does it have a connection with Waiting Sorrow? Is there some kind of connection between the two things? You know, stuff like that, where you know, I want ArenaNet to address that. Don't let it just sit there for God knows how long you're gonna let it sit there, but actually like talk about it. You know, in the next expansion or whatever. Isn't there's a hole in the ground here, is that correct? I am. What is down here again? Just a bunch of bears. Great. We're taking the long way around, guys. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose out on those. No! My baubles! Oh my god. I don't know why, but I'm really hungry right now. I did eat earlier. I'm fucking starving right now. Man, oh, one thing. Yeah, well, and that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Like, all the elder races are introduced, right? Like talked about, right? The Wizard's Court, all the members, all the original members of the Wizard's Court, as far as we know, are all you know, part of the elder races. We have a seer, we have a Jotun, we have a dwarf, we have a Mersat, and we did have a Forgot. You know, I mean, and that's really cool in of itself. And yeah, and exactly like, and that's exactly what I said earlier. And then all of that goes away. Like we don't even know what's going on with that. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's why I keep saying, like, I want to know why. Like, what's the point of introducing all of these things if you're not doing anything with them? Is there a reason to any of this, or is it just for the bears? Trying to get out of here. Yeah, there we go. What time is that? Oh, it's already midnight, but that's okay. We're gonna go a little bit. We're gonna go further. I want to get a bunch of these achievements done, so we're gonna keep playing here, guys. I know World 2 maps are like way longer, so this is gonna. Okay. I fucked up. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god. Frogger. Never been good at Frogger, guys. I will just tell you that right I don't even understand, like, please. Oh, Shadow. Is my, oh no. No. Wow, I suck. So my wish is, because ArenaNet did say that Secrets of the Obscure, it's the velocity, of the jump. Like it's the weird, like, it doesn't feel like the right movement kind of thing when I jump, so it throws me off. Oh, there we go. Because ArenaNet, I didn't go into the other furniture store earlier. That's annoying. That's okay. Because ArenaNet did say that there's gonna be some kind of overarching plot with the next expansions. So my hope is that my hope is, I can't even talk that they mean that in the sense of these, in the sense that these lore threads that they're talking about are gonna be resolved in future expansions. So let's say the next expansion we are going to Janthier, so they're gonna talk about Seer and Mersad, and they will talk about what's going on with them. Legavo and Moment, and maybe give like Livia like some kind of finale to her story, kind of end her story in a you know, and somehow like just kind of finish that up, you know, something like that. And then the expansion after that, have like a Coden expansion, right, where we're talking about like Waiting Sorrow, like maybe going back to her people, you know, going back to her roots or something, and maybe helping the you know, whatever she's doing, you know, and having the secrets that she does have, like, and we have to kind of stop her from maybe where did I go? Oh, from like revealing these things to other people, to like her people or something. I don't know, something like that, right? And then we after that we deal with like the Forgotten, right? Because like what happened to the Forgotten? So we kind of learn about like Vass and like the relationship that Iskarin and her had, and learn a little bit about, you know, the Forgotten and what they're up to, right? So that all these lore threads, like I said earlier, that these lore threads that we did get in Secrets of the Obscure in the initial release, that there's a reason for that, right? It's like, I think I guess I could have used the teleporter. I don't really know, but it doesn't matter. I climbed up here, so I don't. But that there's a reason for all of these things being talked about and being introduced, right? Like Moment, Legavo, like all of these things, like you're giving us all of the dwarves, you know, and like giving us these wizards that are part of. I didn't do that right. Can I still make it? Oh God. Yeah, I think I fucked that up. I don't know. I couldn't see anything. So that's my hope for the next expansion. My hope is that some of these things that we have left behind will become relevant. Yeah, I could have just teleported. Great. I need to time that better because I need to get on that. I wonder how. See, that doesn't even make a huge difference in this game mode, my reshade that I have on. Am I ever gonna get another block of wood coming down? I mean, what the fuck? Alright, come on. Whee! Whee! Alright, I made it over. And I think from here, I should be... Oh, God. Oh my god. I almost didn't... Oh my god. I'm gonna have to climb up, but that's okay. Oh my god. 3 pits of fucking fire. Alright, Yogi. Setting the whole fucking cave on fire. Jesus. Stop! Oh my god, what is this? This is insane. Holy shit. Alright, well I'm glad I'm getting bobbles, but I'd like to get some health. I know there's more bears in this cave somewhere. Right there. Right fucking there. I'm gonna run. I also don't want to die. No! Oh, you bastard. Damn it. See, I'm not good at this game. See, the problem is, I suck at this game, okay? Yeah, so that's kind of my hope for the next expansion. I do hope that we're going to Janthier. I hope that really the map that we're getting is in the Verdant, in the Woodland Cascades, and if I'm smart about this. Oh, you have got. Oh my. Oh. I missed all of the things. I didn't hit a single branch on my way down. Jesus. It was like 7 spots where I could have landed, and I was just like, ugh. I wish I could turn just that on. Just their, like, when they fall, their screams. The rest of the voices, I just really, they get old. What, kitty cat? What do you want? Alright, hello. I just hate how the first block takes forever. Hello? That should be the fastest one. See, and this is not gonna work out for me. I don't think I'm not gonna make it. Oh my god. Listen, I don't know where that fucking cave starts and where it ends. This is stupid. I should have already been done 17,000 hours ago. I think I'm getting hangry, guys. I think that's happening. That's what's happening. Yeah, I mean, I personally, I feel like I kind of have like this personal, you know, because the whole, I don't know, Janthier has just been something that has been in game, and like in the foreground in the game. It's not even been like in the background. Like it's been in the foreground, like in the most important. See how easy that is? Actually, and I'm an idiot. So there you go. You know, and that's why I just want to go there. Like I'm at the point where I'm like, I just want to go there. I just want them to, but then I also have the fear of like, what if it's not a good expansion? Like Nyos, it's kind of disappointing to me, you know? Like the releases are just not good. Like it's not what I imagined. It's not what I wanted. It's not what kind of, I feel like it's also not what was promised to me. Or us, right, as a player base. So it feels a little like lackluster. And I don't want Janthia to feel that way either. But at this point, I just want to go there. I just want to go to Janthia, guys. I want to take a portal from Lake Doric. Okay, because again, I talked... Oh, sorry, guys. I just got stretched a little bit. In that video recently, I talked about how I wanted the world to connect, right? So what's the closest thing that can connect to that river delta? And that's Lake Doric, you know, right? Just make a portal at Lake Doric that lets us go to that map. Like, I just want to... I just want to feel like I'm actually going on a journey, you know, and that's something that I've always talked about. I always in my videos I always talk about, like, I want to feel like when I talk about the maps and where they're gonna be and what's happening. I was like, I'm like, there's a starting point, like with the underwater expansion, you know, like the underwater expansion. It was exactly that. I always talked about how, you know, it's a journey, right? I want to go from one point to another point. Like, I want to connect to the regular world, to the regular game world. Oh, you can't kill these guys? Interesting. Oh, you still stole one. That's a-okay. Tribulation mode on this fucking level is insane. Levels are really long even for normal mode. I mean, it took me like a long time to get through this level in Tribulation mode. A long time. And I'm like, this is not happening again. Like, you know, I got like halfway through and I'm like, I'm kind of committed now. I kind of have to do this. But yeah, it took me way too long to justify. I don't know, just to justify the rewards from it, I guess. So, but what are some other places that you... Oh my god. Okay, redo. What are some places that you guys would like to see? Like, based on the picture, obviously, you know, a lot of us have concluded that it's, you know, Woodland Cascades or Ascalon, right? But what if it's something completely different? What if it is in Dazala? What if it is in... There we go. What would you like to see? What are some conflicts that you'd like to see? What are some characters that you'd like to see make a comeback? You know, maybe even like Guild Wars 1 characters that you want to see reintroduced in an expansion. You know, I still recently I went through Cantha and I kind of looked. Oh, I need to get I totally forgot about this. I recently kind of played a little bit in Cantha, and it really made me think of like oh, there we go. Of like the purists and like all of that, right? Which was like so hinted at being the Living World Season 6 like thing, right? I really felt like purists was gonna be the thing that we're gonna be dealing with. And then we didn't, right? So that's still something, but I mean, that's still something that I can revisit, and I would like to see that. I would like to see the story go to back to Cantha for a couple of maps. You know, getting the, you know, I at this point I would like to see the drowned Kaineng, as well as the other side of Saitong province, of the other side of Xingji Island. Oh boy. That would be, you know, beside like Mersad and Seer expansion, I would like to see that expansion. Maybe even like I would like to have a Crystal Desert map or expansion that doesn't deal with Awakened or Branded. I feel like the Elder Dragons and their story and their whole thing kind of tainted a little bit of some of the releases. The jungle felt okay because the jungle, mind you, the jungle in Guild Wars 1 wasn't really, like, there wasn't a lot going on in the jungle, okay? The thing that was in the jungle was, like, it was the Shining Blade hiding from the White Mantle, and that was pretty much it. Like, we walked around, there was the lore of the Druids, and that was pretty much it. Like, I feel like that was another thing that Heart of Thorns did really well, was that it added like lore to a part of the game that didn't really have that deep of lore. There wasn't that many interesting things there, and I think it did really well there. So but then Path of Fire was so like Branded and Awakened focused that I feel like we kind of lost some of the interesting things. There was, they reused some of the cool story threads, in history of Cantha, or of Elona, I mean, with like the Scarab Plague, right? And they kind of had the Inquest kind of experiment with that, and then that became like Palawa Joko because he awakened them, and his part of fighting his awakened forces was like, oh, we have to fight these scarabs, right? It's like this bug outbreak, right? They like kind of reused that idea of this ancient plague or whatever that came through. So they kind of touched on some of it. We went into the mist and we talked to the gods. So there was wrong button again. So there definitely was some stuff there, but I would like to see some cool Crystal Desert maps that maybe don't have anything to do with those. Maybe deal with like an ancient foe that's come back from like the dynasty areas of like way back when Elona was like the super mega force or something, and maybe seeing like a reunited and like more trained Sun Spears like organization, and kind of help them out or something, and like kind of see like a new Sun Spear Great Hall that they built somewhere else, and they were like, oh, we're like a big more modern organization now, so we need like a more modern seed and things like that. Maybe, I don't need to do this. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm not doing tribulation mode, so I can move on with my life. Urgoz, that's actually a good point too for Cantha. Yeah, kind of getting, but I'm kind of scared of that too, because they did like they had Dreslav, right, in the Echo Vault, and they just have him hang out there, and it's kind of like, really, like, he's pretty much this very pivotal character in the world of in the world of Cantha, in the world of Guild Wars, factions, and like that area of the world. Like, Dreslav is a pretty pivotal character, because we're talking about the entire Echo Forest being in like in seasons. It's like a seasonal thing. Like, they talk about destruction and then recreation and blah 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 blah. And it seems kind of strange to me that they just like place him there and then don't do anything with him. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, So yeah, Urgoz, very very important, but also kind of scared that they will fuck it up, because Dreslav and the Wardens were not utilized to their full capabilities. But like I said, I think there was a season 4 that was planned there, or I'm sorry, a season 6 of the Living World that was planned there, and it ended up being scrapped. Okay, I'm just going around in circles now. There we go. There we go. I'm like, I need to stop doing what I'm doing. Lovely. We can move on with our lives now. Ugh. Oh, you mean the like, oh, I love Pacifier, all the maps Bazaar Kodash was destroyed. Yeah, Pacifier, I mean, I really like the Pacifier maps because you really feel, like, it really feels like 250 years have gone by in a desert nation. You know what I mean? It really, like, that's what it feels like to me. So I think they did a really good job with it. I really, really enjoyed it. The way that the maps were. I think there was things that they could have done better. There's certain areas, when you look at, like, the third map, which is, is it the third map? Once you cross the bone wall, I forgot what it's called, but they have the, like, one area with the, like, harpies on the one side, and that, you know, is kind of, like, not used. Like, there's certain areas of the map that are not utilized, and I wish they would have utilized them more, either in the story or with, like, packed them with more events going on. But overall, I really enjoyed the Pacifier maps. I really, oh my god, that's a weird glitch that keeps happening. But yeah, I was the same way. I mean, and I think they did a really nice job with kind of translating the one thing to the other thing. What is this? Oh god, here we go. This is gonna take me a hot second to finish. I'm not going down. I'm not going down, guys. Like, that's gonna be murder. I don't really care. I just want to get through this. So I'm gonna finish this up, guys. I'm gonna go through. We're gonna defeat the Storm Wizard, and then I'm gonna probably after that I'll be done. Just letting you guys know. Like I said last stream, I really hate. Wait, where am I going? How do I get up there? My favorite song in Super Adventure Bombs. Beat is like so good. Wait, what am I doing? I have forgotten every. Oh, I gotta go down here. Oh my god, I'm so shitty. I was like, I'm doing something wrong, and I was. Yeah. But, I don't know, I do hope that, I don't know, I have hopes for the game, right? And I just, we'll see. I hope that they can deliver, because obviously as someone that likes to make videos and stuff, and, you know, that likes to stream stuff, like, I've been thinking about, like, okay, what if, you know, the next expansion completely fails and Guild Wars 2 shuts down, right? Like, that would be not just incredibly upsetting to me, because if Arena goes bankrupt, that's exactly what's gonna happen, guys. Okay, I didn't think that just barely touching that was well done, but that's okay. But yeah, I mean, you know, and I kind of think about that. I'm like, what am I gonna do then, right? It's like, then I would have to find something else to make videos about and talk about, and I would be very... Oh, you have got to be shitting me right now. I'm gonna go jump off a cliff. Whee! 'Cause I think this is, yeah, this is much higher up. Yeah, and that would be very upsetting. I don't want that to happen. I don't want ArenaNet to shut down. I want them to continue making games, and you know, eventually Guild Wars 3, and you know, I did my rant about Guild Wars. I keep forgetting that there's a thing right up there. Okay, I can't even kill myself. It was kind of lost, but dude, there's an echo valve. They have this one, and that's it. Yeah, it was, and I mean, there's the whole discussion of, I've talked about how I think that Tetra is like an amazing character. She's such a deep character, and they don't explore her at all. They don't explore at all who Tetra is as a character. Can I stand here? Yes, I can. And that to me is very sad. You know, you lose, like, Tetra was a great character because she had to be this, you know, she came, you know, the female wardens came out of the Echowild Forest, and no one really knew what that was about, right? And she kind of had to, like, take charge, so she had to be a total hard ass. So to the speakers, she's this total douchebaggy character, where she just kind of tells them to shut up. Like, I think she tells them to I don't know where you think you're going. There's nothing on that side. My cat tried to like cross over, like go right across in front of me. Yeah, there's nothing over there. I can tell you that. There's literally nothing there. So I don't know. You can sit right there. And so Tetra, you know, she had to be this hard ass. She had to be this like, this literal like, like she was mean to them, you know, to a lot of them. Like I said, I think she even told some of them to like shut up at some point, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Like, you know, you have these followers and you just tell them to like shut up. It's like, okay, it's kind of weird. But then, and I've talked about this before, she deals with like, you know, Navan, right? They hang out in Dragon's End, you know, during the meta or whatever, and she actually shows genuine concern. She shows genuine concern for Navan, where she literally is like, "What's wrong, Navan?" And she has this like really short heart-to-heart with her, which shows that she's maybe more of a caring Really? Are you serious right now? Open, please. Thank you. More of a caring person than she might let on. You know, and then there's also the whole idea I just talked about, like the female wardens, right? The female wardens, when you go into the camp of the speakers in the Echowild Forest, they talk about how the female wardens had just come back, right? From somewhere, like, because you can ask like the one guy, he's like standing right next to Tetra, and you can ask him about, you know, the female wardens and kind of talk about like, well, you know, what's going on with the female wardens, and he'll say like, yeah, so they like very recently kind of reappeared from the depths of the Echowild to fight back against the Dragon Void and the, like, you know, the corruption of the, not the Dragon Void, but the corruption of the you know, the expansion of Jade and like all the stuff going on, right? And they came back because they wanted to, like, they realized that the force was in danger, so they now have to fight the outside forces. And so then you can ask, okay, well, they were gone, where were they, right? And he'll say like, oh yeah, I asked him the same question, and all I know is that like I pretty much got laughed at by Tetra, and all I was told is that they were protecting some kind of location far away from mortals' eyes or something like that. That's what he says. And that's all we know about the female wardens. So they were gone for a long time. They were not in Guild Wars 1. So we know that they have been gone at least 250 years. And they have now returned. But where were they? What were they doing? You know, like, it's kind of it's this strange mystery, you know, the female wardens and Tetra, and what's their objective, and what's, you know, what's all of that, like what's going on there, you know. So it is definitely another thread that it's kind of been you know, put out there into the world, and then not anything done with yet. I mean, there's still time to do something with it, but yeah, I'm crashing hard right now, guys. I'm like getting really tired, and it's all my talking, it's all the hot air I'm letting out. It's like exhausting me. Oh. Oh my god, are you serious? And then I, just so you guys know as well, so I spoke to my sister, and we talked about, like, because we wanted to do more, like, co-op streams and, like, whatever. So what we're probably gonna start doing is we're probably gonna, I totally was not paying attention, I was looking at something on the other screen. But we're probably gonna do some, co-op streams in the sense that we're gonna be, streaming together, but we'll be on like 2 separate cameras. Like she'll be on her computer, I'll be on my computer, and we're gonna be streaming something like together. That's this way. Right now she's really into Genshin Impact. She hasn't really played very far. She's still in Mondstadt. So it'll probably be Genshin Impact or something that we'll play together. I don't know if it's gonna be Guild Wars 2. I would like to maybe play some Guild Wars 2 with her. Maybe, you know, at some point because I know she hasn't played Secrets of the Obscure yet. So maybe that's something that you know, if she wanted to get into or something. Oh shit, I'm dead. Yeah. So, yeah, so look forward to that. I don't know when that's happening. We're gonna definitely do that at some point. Almost got him in one go. I think I'll definitely do another stream of Super Adventure Box as well, because I want to get the other stuff. But you know, I've been live for only 3 hours, but I'm like tired, guys. I had a crazy week. I had a very busy week at work, and I have a very busy week coming up, so I'm sorry I didn't stream any longer. My plan actually was today to stream much longer, but yeah, it's not happening, so I apologize. But yeah, well, we're gonna continue Guild Wars 1 still. I'm having a really good time with the going through factions and going through Cantha right now. Super fun. It's a good time. Alright, let's click that. And then go back to... Oh, we gotta still do the bonus game and then go back to the lobby. And then see if we can't get any of our... if we can at least get one reward. You know, I got the sword. I don't know what I want to get with that sword. Do they have the focus? I don't know. Ooh, stretchy. What are you doing? Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Getting the achievements done. Also, if you guys want to become channel members, I would really appreciate it. We do have really cute emojis. They're really, really cute, and I love them very much. And yeah, so. Whee! Yeah, see, I'm okay with them stealing one. They're giving me like 5 or 6. Bam, 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 bam. Wee. That's it. That's all she wrote. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Oh, it's super early. Super early, guys. Should I do you guys want me to do the World 3? This is the test zone. If you guys want me to do the test zone, I will. Because I can survive that long. Super early. Oh, I got that. Oh, I got that. Oh, I have a lot of those. Okay, let's open these. That's gonna get me a bunch more baubles. And I can't open this. So, great. This is one of those purple weapons, right? Yeah. But, let's get some baubles. How many of those do I have now? 31. How many do I need for one of those weapons? Oh my god, 30! Yay! Okay, focus is not in there. We have a scepter though. The scepter was kind of weird looking, right? Yeah. Maze is kind of. I don't use maze though. Right? I don't use any of these really, but. I did say I was using a hammer now, but I don't think I'm gonna use that on that guy. I'd get the sword. Oh, no focus yet. Okay. No one's saying anything, so I don't think people want to watch me. Dude. World 3. Yeah, because I'm going right to bed after this. I'm gonna eat something first and then go to bed. Watch some YouTube. I think I'm gonna just get the scepter. Who gives a shit? Yay, we got another one! Oh, he's so excited. I bought something from him. He's like, I can feed my children now! Oh, I can't break it down. Interesting. Alright, well, that's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. Mostly that's what it was, right? It's kind of, I mean, there's not much to talk about like with Super Adventure Box, you know, or any of the festivals really, but the idea is, you know, to kind of hang out and talk about the current state of the game, the current things that are going on, and kind of give out my thoughts. Like I said, I don't want anyone to think that I'm shit-talking over the internet or whatever. I'm voicing some of the concerns that I have, and I'm going to continue supporting the game, obviously. Streaming it, playing it, buying, you know, gems when there's something that I really want to get, and like stuff like that, you know, buying the expansions and stuff. Like, I'm still going to support it. I'm still going to be here for it until the very end, you know. But yeah, there's just some concerns that I have, some you know, ideas even of like things I would like to see. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, you can become a member. We do have that active. We do have some cool emojis, and like I said, at some point in the future, I would like to do something member specific. I just need more members than we have right now. We have 3, and I don't, you know, I don't think that I'm gonna do something for 3 people only. So I would like to do stuff as we go, as we get more, you know, so. But yeah, I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. And maybe I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure. Maybe tomorrow with some more Super Adventure Box, or maybe tomorrow with more Guild Wars, or not at all tomorrow or something. So yeah, fast food has gone up a lot. Yeah, fast food has gone up a lot. Like, I get a meal now at Wendy's, and I'm at almost $13 that I pay for a meal, which is like, it's a burger, fries, and a drink, right? And I'm at like $13. It's a little on the crazy side. Thank you so much. Have a good night as well. Thank you. Yeah, the only thing I was gonna say about fast food is that's one of the reasons why I don't eat fast food anymore. Because fast food, I used to go, I remember a few years ago I used to go, and it was like $8 for me to get like a meal. And I figured, I'm like, I feel like that's a deal, right? Like I'm getting a whole meal for $8, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I feel like I'm getting something out of that. I'm paying like almost $13 now to go. Like, if I go to Burger King, it is over 13 actually. If I get like a Whopper meal, and not even a double Whopper, a regular Whopper meal at Burger King is like 13 something. And I don't ever do Burger King. I do it like once a year. I do like Burger King. But yeah, it's a little bit on the crazy side. So but anyways, I'm gonna head out. So thank you guys so much, and yeah, and I will see you guys next time. All right, bye guys.